football to basketball and hockey to baseball. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only.
UNC football is about to kick off. Join the Good Feet store in Chapel Hill for the 2024 UNC football kickoff party. Friday from 4 to 6. Free food, giveaways, UNC student athletes, and mascot Ramses. Friday 4 to 6 p.m. at the Good Feet store, Chapel Hill.
Every season can be punishing for your roof. Mother Nature is a fierce opponent that doesn't take a break, which is why you need RoofWorks on your building maintenance team. Hi, this is Holly from RoofWorks. We specialize in keeping your commercial roof in great condition no matter what the issue may be. We offer roof inspections, roof repairs, and if needed, a full roof replacement. We help determine if there's a problem with your roof and advise you on the most cost-effective way to handle it. Contact us today at roofworks.com. That's roof, WERKS.com.
Homeowners, listen up. Loan Pronto now has mortgage rates that start with a 4. Hey, it's Dennis Cox for Loan Pronto. It's true. Mortgage rates have plummeted to lows we haven't seen in a long time. If your current rate is over 6%, you can dump it and lower your house payment big time. Loan Pronto just locked in a homeowner with a 4.99% APR. Whether you got your loan last week, last month, or last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto. Even if you're in the process with another lender, stop now and call Loan Pronto. Ask about their zero-cost reduction home loan. You can lock in a lower rate with no closing costs in a matter of days with almost no paperwork and usually no appraisal. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now. Loan Pronto can give you a rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 919-381-1760 or loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. On approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Put up your Dukes, Bull City. Your Blue Devils are back at Brooks Field at Wallace Wade Stadium. Catch Duke football as they take on the UConn Huskies on Saturday, September 14th at 6 p.m. And it's Durham night. Durham residents can save big and take advantage of our incredible Durham night ticket package. Starting at just $20, all packages include free food as well as free parking and a reserved chairback seat. Get Durham night tickets at goduke.com/Durham or call 919-681-BLUE. Duke football. Bleed blue.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Raleigh's injury lawyers.
Bounces his way into the end zone. Touchdown!
Visit GotBrian.com.
That's GotBrian.com.
WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
Where basically just a work ethic takes you. I mean, if you see him in practice, he's always working on little stuff, and then it translates to games. So just watching somebody like that is one of the best players in the world, and that he's still so dialed in and working on every part of his game, I think makes it really easy for someone like me to come in there and do those extra reps and do that extra work just to sometimes, or at some point, hopefully get to that level. So I think just him leading by example. He doesn't even have to say much to anybody or to me, just by watching him and the way he conducts himself and handles himself at the rink, I think really pushes everyone around him.
Oh, we're here! It is the Adam Gold Show. And let me be the 11th person to welcome you to the official start of the NFL season.
Yes!
Starts tonight.
I'm excited.
We mentioned this yesterday. Still think people are more anticipating, I think more people anticipate the start of the NFL season, but man, college fans are on another planet.
Yeah, once you get past the college crazies.
Right, often one that does not contain oxygen.
Right.
But we're here. Game 1 tonight. between the Chiefs and Baltimore Ravens.
Should be a good one.
Oh, my gosh. Well, I mean, you should start with you got the defending Super Bowl champs and one of the chief contenders through all of it. There's a lot of things we're going to talk about there. We'll discuss some fandom here. And for Panthers fans, I am curious your level of optimism and what the expectations are.
Shouldn't be high.
Well, it all depends. It all depends on what you base your expectations on. And we will get into that, although we'll probably go a lot more in-depth on it tomorrow since that's the last show before the Panthers start. Today will be more broad about the National Football League. Will Brinson will join us at the bottom of the hour. We'll also break this up, talk a little bit about college football. Duke plays tomorrow night. NC State on Saturday night in Charlotte against Tennessee. And there is also a story that I want to at some point briefly touch on, and it is a story that I am fairly certain that very few people care about, but I'm going to bring it up anyway because I think there's an interesting discussion there. But we'll get to that later.
Okay.
Well, I'm not doing it now because you know what tonight is?
Yeah, it's
start
football.
of the NFL season. Let's go. Wasn't that a tease, though? What a great tease.
It was good.
When we come back, something you don't care about.
Yeah, exactly.
Film at 11.
It's perfect.
All right, week 1. Chiefs are going for a three-peat this season. They will host the Ravens, who are looking for a breakthrough. Do you know how many teams in the Super Bowl era, Victoria, have won 3 straight Super Bowls?
None.
Exactly. It's never happened.
Nope.
And by the way, you can follow this show on YouTube. We invite your comments in the comments box or in the or it's side panel or a box at the bottom.
It's a side panel.
I don't know.
Well,
I've never commented. I've never commented, so I don't know.
You can comment underneath the video, but it will show up on the side.
Oh, there you go. So by all means, if you want to contribute to this program via the comments box, feel free. You can go to 99.9 The Fans page on YouTube. You can also search Adam Gold Show. Either way, you get to the same spot. And boom, there we are. And comment to your heart's content. So Chiefs are looking for a three-peat, and the hope is that they will become the first ever NFL team to do so. 8 different teams have had a go at this, which means that we have had 8 repeat Super Bowl champions. And no team has ever reached the Super Bowl for after winning 2 straight Super Bowls.
Yes.
We have had 3 different franchises or 3 different teams win or make it to 3 or more consecutive Super Bowls, and maybe we'll just throw in the answers to that. I'll just throw that out there. Feel free. Throw it in the comments section or tweet it to me at AGoldFan or at V underscore Victoria underscore yeah.
That chick in the octagon.
Exactly. If you just type in a few underscores, you get it.
Yeah.
So, by all means, 3 NFL teams have appeared in at least 3 straight Super Bowls. There's an interesting tie between those 3 teams, which I think you'll figure it out if you could get it. All right. So really the odds are against. History tells us the odds are against Kansas City. Here's where I point out that history doesn't mean anything. Nothing. Because it's going to happen at some point.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to win 3 in a row. I mean, if maybe we'll be on this planet long enough for somebody to win 5 in a row.
Maybe.
I don't know. Anyway, Chiefs are ready. Travis Kelce, who I'm sure had a summer of attending concerts all over the globe,
yes,
is feeling ready.
Physically, I feel just as good, if not more ready than I have been in years past. Just because you get more comfortable with your body, you learn things from the mistakes you made in years past and things like that. And you just constantly keep getting better and keep getting more aware of where your body's at.
He was obviously great last year, and the Chiefs won the Super Bowl in spite of the fact that, most people couldn't name two of their wide receivers from last year.
I know, and he did have a little bit of an injury that caused him to be out for a minute.
Yeah, there's no question. So they have Patrick Mahomes, but their offense with certain draft picks, Juju Smith-Schuster is back in Kansas City. Not that that's a game changer, because at this point in his career, he's a reliable veteran. We'll just use that. But Booger McFarland from ESPN on the improved Kansas City offense.
Well, it's supposed to be a faster offense. Let's not forget, when you add Xavier Worthy, who ran 4.21 at the combine, you couple that with Rashee Rice, they're going to get more explosive and push the football down the field. And that should open up some of the underneath stuff for Travis Kelce and Juju Smith-Schuster. So there's no doubt about it. The offense will be different. They want to be more explosive. And think about that. Here's the two-time defending back-to-back Super Bowl champ saying they want to become more explosive, and the offense could be even better this year. That's something for the league to behold.
Yeah, and maybe everybody's terrified. Adam Teacher from ESPN, NFL reporter, has this to say about the Chiefs and their chances to win it all again.
As crazy as this might sound, if they don't go out and get their three-peat, it might be looked at as a disappointment after winning the last two, So I think a little bit. I think they've got the right kind of people to handle that kind of pressure. So, maybe if anybody can do it, it's this group. But, yeah, I do think it's, they're going for history, and I think everybody's going to look back at a disappointing season if they don't get it.
That is, of course, insanity.
Right.
There have been incredible teams that did not win Super Bowls. It's really hard.
It's very hard.
The New England Patriots were probably as good a team as we have ever seen. They went 16-0 in the regular season, won 2 playoff games, got to the Super Bowl, and lost to the Giants.
Yeah, and on paper, the 49ers should have won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And then Mahomes came around.
Look, every team that fancies themselves, to use the term fancy themselves, as a Super Bowl contender is going to be disappointed if they don't win. But is it a disappointing season if they don't ultimately collect another Lombardi trophy? All right. Baltimore's won 2 playoff games in the Lamar Jackson era. That is staggering to me.
It's crazy.
So, and I know that there's a lot of shade being thrown at Baltimore and Jackson. Frankly, I think it's probably more about John Harbaugh being a little too conservative. I think in playoff runs, the Ravens have been too, let's just not lose the game as opposed to let it rip. But only 2 playoff wins in the Lamar Jackson era. Maybe this year will be different. Chiefs go off as the favorites. They are plus 550, which, if you want to just use the odds, 5.5 to 1. 49ers are 6 to 1. Ravens, the third choice and the top choice the second choice in the AFC. The Ravens are 11 to 1. Lions 12 to 1. Eagles 13 to 1. Texans and Bengals are each at 15 to 1. The Jets, I think they're lumped in with some other teams, are 18 to 1.
Okay.
Mike Greenberg has not been able to bet them enough to get the odds to drop.
He thinks maybe they are the one.
Right. Or maybe he has bet them so much that their odds have dropped to 18 to 1.
Right.
Do you know who the longest shot is to win the Super Bowl?
Oh, would that be the Panthers?
Incorrect.
Patriots.
The Patriots.
Nice.
Plus 30,000. Yeah. And by the way, I'm using FanDuel's website for this. Panthers and Broncos are each plus 25,000. So to put that into simple terms, it's worth $1.
Just in case.
because if the Panthers win it, your dollar becomes $2,500.
And the
$250.
The Panthers are moving up, too, because they were the worst. But
yes,
now
they were. They were.
switched with the Patriots.
The Patriots are. So a dollar gets you $300.
Maybe Vegas thought Drake May was going to be the starter, and then when they found out he wasn't, that's what switched it up.
Yeah, but it's better for Drake May.
Yes.
So that's where we are on those things. Did I miss a Jerry Jones interview with Stephen A. Smith?
Potentially.
I must have, because there's a soundbite. I'm only bringing this up because we have some Jerry Jones sound here. But apparently, and this, for all I know, it came from the interview with Stephen A. Smith. But Stephen A. is defending his interview with Jerry Jones. Whatever.
I think he's the kind.
Whatever, he can defend. I didn't hear it.
I am.
I'm sure that Jerry Jones was like, I'm the best GM in the world.
Right. And
whatever.
I don't make all the decisions.
No, he
I
does.
let other people.
He makes every decision.
Yeah.
No, I mean, no offense. It's like Tom Dundon saying that, well, that's not for me to decide. No. Everything is for you to decide. Mm-hmm. That's not a criticism. That is simply, that's the way it works.
Or David Tepper saying he can hold his drink.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry. It's still a thing.
Season doesn't start till Sunday. All right, so here's Jerry Jones on Dak Prescott giving him the best chance, giving the Cowboys the best chance to win.
I think he's the kind of quarterback that gets better and better. When you look at what he brings to the table, as opposed to the alternative. The alternative is not a one-year alternative. It's a several-year alternative. Fair. So when you look at the prospects of the likelihood of him over the next 5 years knocking on that door, I like those odds. And that, to me, is where you go. You pull the trigger on it.
All right, this is from the Stephen A. Smith interview with Jerry Jones. And for those people who think that Jerry only cares about dollars and cents, we have this.
Maybe someone thinks that because I don't want to win a ball game, I don't want to win a Super Bowl as much as I don't want to make a buck. That's bull stuff. That really is. That's not the way it works. Anybody that really knows me is that I'd trade 2/3, a third of whatever percent you want to call of what the Cowboys are supposed to be worth to get us to get one of those Super Bowls.
Okay.
Math.
Well, that's fine. But Jerry has honestly proved that he is telling you the truth there. Like, if you think that Jerry cares more about money than winning, you're wrong, because every day, every year, Jerry Jones' actions as the general manager back that up. There's a reason, like, when he waits until the 11th hour to pay CeeDee Lamb makes more money than all the other wide receivers, basically. And the longer he waits to pay Dak Prescott, when he could have done this a year ago and spent less money. No, Jerry is spending more money. See? See how that works?
Mm-hmm.
Or it's just bad management. It's one of the two things. MVP. Patrick Mahomes is the favorite to win the MVP plus 450.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen plus 800. Joe Burrow plus 1,000.
Wow.
CJ Stroud, Jalen Hurts plus 1,200. I think those Jalen Hurts bets are probably left over from last year.
Think so.
Jordan Love plus 1,400. Lamar Jackson and Brock Purdy plus 1,600. And then you get the trio of Tua Tagovailoa, Dak Prescott, and Aaron Rodgers at plus 2,000. I would be floored if Rodgers puts up enough numbers to put himself in that category.
Mm-hmm.
But if Mike Greenberg gets his wish and the Jets are legitimately good and a contender along with the Chiefs in the AFC, then the numbers won't matter. Aaron Rodgers will be on that list unless Breece Hall has a monster season, which honestly I expect.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Jets will be a run-first team and use Rodgers out of play action a lot. And Breece Hall could have a monster season as long as he stays healthy. All right, one more thing before we break. The ACC continues to take heat for their weak, spelled WEAK1 performance. And they should. But coming up Saturday, and I've already had discussions with some people that I value their opinions about college football and the season. It's 100% fair and arguably accurate to say that the ACC's basically a one-bid conference of the playoffs with a 12-team expanded playoff. Unless a couple of things happen, and they probably need to happen this week. What happens with NC State and Tennessee? Because the Wolfpack have the opportunity to put the tourniquet on the wound Saturday. Mm-hmm. Now, there are other games, and I'll get to those games. But Tennessee is legit, and this is going to take a far better performance from NC State's offensive line to deal with Tennessee's defensive line. And when we talked to Chip Patterson about this yesterday, he talked about the pass rush.
Right.
Honestly, while I'm not saying I'm not worried about the pass rush, I don't think NC State has a chance if they can't run the football. And that's the thing that bothered me the most about the Wolfpack, the inability to really run the ball effectively against Western Carolina. But back to the offensive line or back to Tennessee and Dave Doran. This is on the Wolfpack Weekly podcast on the radio show, Taking on the Vols.
I mean, they are as fast as you can play. This isn't the first time we've defended somebody like that. Syracuse was like that with Dino Babers. That's right. So, yeah, we've seen it. We've done well against it, and we haven't done well against it. I mean, it's a tough offense, not only because they go fast. It's a tough offense because they got good players in that offense, and we have to do a great job on defensive tackling. There's going to be a lot of space plays. We have to defend deep balls well. And we need to get them off schedule. We can't let them have second and medium, second and short. We need to get them in second longs and then get them third and longs and then win and keep them on the sideline. And this is one of those games where both sides got to really complement each other in this football game.
The way Georgia Tech beat Florida State in Dublin, that would be a great place for NC State to start. And I know we'll talk more about this tomorrow. But if you're the Wolfpack, the reason why the performance of your offensive line is so important is because if you're State, I think you need to run the ball to make it easier on Grayson McCall. Look, you got incredible weapons on the outside. I'm not saying you don't throw it, but I think you must control the game on the ground first. If they do that, there are fewer possessions for Tennessee, who is an electrifying offense, especially with the quarterback whose name I will be able to pronounce by the end of this show, I promise.
Yeah.
But I think they've got to shorten the game, create fewer possessions, but more importantly, they simply need to be able to run the football. It'll make everything on offense better, and I give their defense a chance against Tennessee because I think they have the capability to be excellent on defense, especially given, 10 days to get ready for this, having not played since a week ago today. I think State's offensive line is the key unit for the Wolfpack having a chance to win the game. And we'll get into it in greater detail tomorrow. But it is one of those games this weekend that will help the ACC maybe flip the narrative if they can pluck this one. Virginia Tech has to get a win. They got to beat Marshall at home. Clemson's got to beat App. We're going to talk to Sean Clark later. Going to face an angry Clemson Tigers team. Not sure it matters, right? They can be angry all they want. What does Clemson have offensively? But we'll talk about App and Clemson with Sean Clark in about 2 hours. And UNC needs to keep it going. And I'll be curious to see what their offense looks like, even though it's Charlotte, and Charlotte is no good. No good. But we'll see what their offense looks like against the 49ers coming up on Saturday. When we come back, it's the start of the NFL season. Will Brinson will join us We'll talk about a lot of the things we have already discussed, but only with Will and a full head of hair. Next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
I think the Detroit Lions make it to the Super Bowl. The Lions are completely stacked. They're better than they were last year. They were in the NFC Championship game last year, could have punched their ticket to the Super Bowl. I think this year they do it. I don't know if they win it or not. That's TBD, but I do think the Detroit Lions will represent the NFC in the Super Bowl.
Unsportsmanlike.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
We're finally here. Game week, Game 1, NFL and FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. We have a special offer to kick us off now through September 22nd. All FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. And then, with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game, and all you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel at any time. Don't want to watch the Panthers and the Saints? What about the Vikings and the Giants? Maybe you hate yourself and want to watch that game. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold and download America's #1 sportsbook. That's FanDuel.com/Adam Gold for FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Full price of NFL Sunday Ticket will be automatically charged seasonally after free trial. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Veterans, did you know VA mortgage rates have plummeted and you can now access up to 100% of your home's equity and turn that into cash right now? Hey, it's Roger Moore, President and CEO of Loan Pronto, announcing our VA Equity Advantage program. This VA offer can get you 50, 70, 100,000 cash out with no junk fees and no hassle. With APRs in the 5s, you can pay off all those credit cards, personal loans, car loans, and get one easy-to-manage payment. Veterans we help save on average $850 per month. And listen, if you're a veteran with a current mortgage rate over 6.25%, we can do a streamlined refinance with no income verification and no appraisal, saving you hundreds a month. At Loan Pronto, we respect what you've done for our country, and we show it. Call now and ask about our special VA Equity Advantage program. 919-381-1760. 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. 919-381-1760.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS consumeraccess.org.
At the UPS Store, we understand the importance of a first impression. That's why we're here to help you put your best foot forward and be unstoppable with our printing services. With high-quality paper stock options, banners, business cards, menus, and more, we make sure your small business stands out and your message reaches the masses. After all, we're the one-stop prints that pop store. Most locations are independently owned. Products, services, prices, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable. Come into your local store today and get your print on.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. I live and work on both coasts, travel the country, and there's nothing better than Buffalo Brothers. The best wings on the planet and half-price appetizers Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6. Visit all 5 Triangle locations and ask for their great daily beer specials. And how about this special? Every Sunday, they have $6 Bloody Marys and $6.50 Jamesons. Dine in, carry out. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
This is Adam Gold.
Frankly, I'm not sure that there is a sport that we could theoretically even put in the Olympics that isn't. I said bowling. Yeah, maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Croquet? Lawn darts?
I'm waiting for cornhole.
Oh, there's somebody that thinks, yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold, Victoria producing the program. We are finally here. It is the first day of the NFL season as Baltimore will visit Kansas City today. We have, 4 out of the next 5 days we will have NFL football on your television. Not only do we have Kansas City hosting Baltimore tonight, you have Green Bay and Philadelphia playing in Brazil. Wait, what are we doing? Yes, we're taking a Friday night opener, season opener to Brazil. And then, of course, the full day on Sunday. And then Monday, of course, it is the Jets and 49ers, right? Jets and 49ers are the Monday night game. And as weird as this seems, I don't hate the Jets' chances. Of course, they insist they're going to have they haven't ruled out Hassan Reddick yet. And I am curious, since he hasn't been to training camp, nor at any point there during the preseason, why would you anticipate having Hassan Reddick? Why would you even create that possibility of having Hassan Reddick if he's been holding out all training camp? By the way, this has cost him a ton of money. Now, do the Jets get the fine money, or does the league get the fine money? Because if the Jets get the fine money, they could cover it. But the fines have to be paid. These are not, the team is like, we'll look the other way. We'll just say, we'll forgive it. No, the fines must be paid. And I don't think the Jets are it's like $50,000 a day. There's been a lot of days without Hassan Reddick. Every 20 days is $1 million. It's been more than 20 days since Hassan Reddick started the holdout. And honestly, it's been the most Jets thing ever, this holdout. The most Jets thing ever. They traded for a guy who was traded because he wanted a new contract. And the Jets didn't give him a new contract. They offered him like a restructuring of the contract. They didn't give him a new one. He was going to hold out from Philadelphia for a new one. And the Jets traded for him, and what a surprise. This is why I'm no longer a Jets fan, because they do dumb things like this. This is what they do. They do dumb. Worse than any team, although of late, Panthers have pushed. The Panthers have pushed. What I am counting on is that the Panthers are over it. What I am also counting on is my friend Will Brinson, senior NFL writer, CBSSports.com, who sorts the Sunday pile every Sunday night. And hopefully I will be locked and loaded in place so I don't read it on my ride in every day or every Monday.
I'll do an audio only, like audiobook version just for you.
Will you do it? Because honestly,
sure, why not?
That would be fantastic. That would be fantastic if you could do that for me, so I don't run off the side of the road. All right, let's just start with tonight. The Chiefs last year won a Super Bowl with basically nobody playing wide receiver. I'm obviously kidding there, because they had some talent there, and of course Marquez Valdez-Scantling decided to make the only 2 big plays of the entire season when it mattered the most. But that Rashee Rice was good. Of course, he's had some issues during the offseason. Can the Chiefs be better this year than they were last year?
Oh yeah, and as I just wrote on CBSSports.com for my weekly picks column, I think there's a chance. And I'm not saying that, like, I wouldn't want to bet against the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl, right? Because this is a team that's won it twice in a row, 3 out of 4 years. Patrick Mahomes is probably tracking towards becoming the greatest quarterback of all time. He's got a ways to go to catch Tom Brady, but he's got a pretty good start on it when you consider where Brady was early on in his career. And what I think is fascinating about this particular season is we are all sort of assuming that the Chiefs are going to play possum, that they're going to come out and like, all right, let's limit Travis Kelce snaps. Let's run the ball a ton with Isaiah Pacheco. Let's play defense. Let's just get to the playoffs and win a couple of games and three-peat and shake it off, etc. Insert your personal Taylor Swift pun here.
Right.
But I also think there's a decent chance that when you consider like the contextual history of the NFL, that the Chiefs look at this season not just as an opportunity to three-peat, but as an opportunity to obliterate how we view Kansas City in a giant like vacuum, and that they may just decide to burn it all to the ground 2007 Patriots style. That they could come out with Rashee Rice, who he's not going to be suspended at this point.
No.
The NFL rarely suspends people mid-season. They let the legal process play out. That's got a ways to go anyway. Travis Kelce's back. He's tracking on a Hall of Fame career. Patrick Mahomes has won 2 MVPs and has thrown for 5,000 passing yards twice in his career, and had the worst season of his career as a starter, really. I mean, I guess you say 2019 last season. The Chiefs' offense wasn't very good. I think they want to come out and flex. I think there's a chance they want to come out and flex. And the way that they do this, 2007 Patriots style, is by reimagining what they have on offense. They already have Kelce underneath who eats up, just a force underneath. Rashee Rice does the same sort of thing. Screens, just the way he runs these short routes. He's a great route runner. I mean, and he's going to get open. Well, they add Xavier Worthy in the offseason, and Hollywood Brown, both guys who, and Hollywood Brown can be a short yardage type of get the ball in his hands in space guy, but Xavier Worthy is one of the fastest dudes in the history of football. I mean, he ran the fastest 40 ever at the combine. Right. So when these teams try to play these cover 2 shells where they put 2 high safeties over top and force Patrick Mahomes to play it safe and beat them underneath. Well, good luck doing that when you have Xavier Worthy burning up the middle. It's going to change the way defenses possibly defend them. And when you have a play caller like Andy Reid, I think that's a possibility that 10 games in the season. I mean, you remember this. You were doing sports talk radio in 2000 in the 2007.
Yes.
When the Patriots said every week was a new referendum on sportsmanship.
Right.
Like I remember. I mean, I probably shouldn't have been in college in 2007, but here we are. I remember specifically like PTI would have these segments where it was like, are the Patriots bad for the sport of football?
Right.
Are they flaunting sportsmanship? Well, who's to say the Chiefs aren't going to go out and do the exact same thing with, by the way, a pretty decent defense as well?
Yeah, I mean, it probably won't be as good, right? They took on some personnel loss. Probably won't be as good as last year, but it should be good, and their offense probably will be at least as good, maybe better, because if it does have more of a downfield threat, it should open up more. I mean, you could just send Xavier Worthy on go routes all day. Just let him run. You're gonna have,
and he's more than that, by the way. He's a good route runner and a good football player. Yeah, I'm just making sure that it's not like we're not treating him like he's a 9-route guy.
Right. Like I'm trying to think of a Ted
Marcus
Ginn.
Valdez-Scantling?
Ted Ginn. Boom. Just go, Ted.
Yeah.
That's what you do well. Keep doing that. Hey, Panthers
Run
fans.
straight fast.
Yeah. Panthers fans just went, I remember that. Those were the good old days. Those were the salad days of the most recent salad days.
He was the number 1 receiver on that 2015 Super Bowl team.
He's certain that he and Jericho Cottree. By the way, wasn't that a catch? Didn't he catch the ball?
Probably.
I mean,
there was actually an interesting take. It was Ricky Prohl, I think, was on somebody's podcast. I don't remember whose podcast it was. He was like, we just screwed up coaching-wise. We should have just run the ball and play defense.
I heard that. Yes, I did hear that. But I thought if the ball doesn't touch the ground, it's a cat. Never mind. Water over the bridge. The Ravens, what's interesting to me about this game, and because I've loved Baltimore every year that Lamar Jackson has been there, is that they haven't had postseason success. They've won just 2 playoff games with Lamar in the Lamar Jackson era. One of those years, Jackson didn't play in the playoffs, right? He was hurt at the end of the year, and he didn't play in the playoffs, and they lost that game. But they've only won, this is 6 years 6 years of playoff football with 2 wins. I actually think that it's more on John Harbaugh than it is on Lamar Jackson. They have gone pretty vanilla and conservative, almost like trying not to lose when they get to the postseason. What's the next step for them? What has to change for them?
Well, I mean, I think you can kind of look. I don't think that the Ravens are going to go, 2007 Patriots as well, but I don't know, man. You look at the additions they made this offseason. Now, the offensive line, if you believe that Baltimore can draft and develop, they're in a very good spot because they're all homegrown guys, even though there are definitely question marks there. They added Derek freaking Henry. And the age curve or whatever bell curve you want to associate with age in the NFL, particularly with running backs, I don't know that it applies to Derek Henry, especially when you take him out of a situation where he's playing from behind with a bad offensive line most of the time, and you put him in a spot where he's going to be playing with a lead and a decent offensive line most of the time. This is a really good fit for him. Todd Monken offense, second year for Lamar Jackson. By the way, Lamar, 2 for 2 on MVPs in his first year with new offensive coordinators, and hadn't really had a guy who develops him as a passer the way that Todd Monken did last year. I think anybody putting a cap on the Ravens is foolish.
Yeah.
What we're seeing tonight could easily be a rematch that we see in the AFC Championship game again. Yeah. I would also note that, like, Lamar's first playoff loss, he lost to Phillip Rivers, and he came in he was subbing in for Joe Flacco, and he started that game, but it was like his rookie year. It wasn't really his full team.
Right.
They lose to Tennessee the next year. They had to throw 60 times because they got behind. That was sort of the offense. Mm-hmm. And then you lose to the Bills. The Bills were very good. He didn't play against the Bengals in that loss. And then you lose to the Chiefs last year.
I'm not blaming him. Like I said, I don't think it's him.
No. You and I have had this conversation when, remember, he was not in the top 10 of NFL quarterbacks, and we talked about it. I think the ceiling for the Ravens is the number 1 seed, and you need to go win some playoff games. Man, I don't know. Look, if you're not the Patriots during their dynasty and not the Chiefs during their budding dynasty, it's kind of tough out there in the streets, in the AFC streets. You've been around for 25 years, and it's just kind of tough to win playoff games because you're eventually going to run into one of those. Like you're running into Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes at some point in the playoffs, almost guaranteed if you go far enough every year for the last 25 years. It makes it tough. So I think, they're a Super Bowl or bust team. Anything less, and they feel disappointed. But I think if they go get the number 1 seed and lose in the AFC Championship game again, you can't objectively look at the team and say, well, this didn't working with Lamar, let's blow it up. It's just going to be, somewhat disappointing.
Yeah, look, Lamar ain't going. He is not going anywhere. Will Brinson, senior NFL writer, CBSSports.com, joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, let's. We have just a couple of minutes left. And by the way, the Bills, who I think are an absolute Super Bowl contender. I picked him to win this. I picked him to win the Super Bowl. They don't have great weapons at wide receiver, so that is it's a work in progress at best. I think we have to be. Hope.
I think Dalton Kincaid could be, if anybody's still doing fantasy drafts, I think he could be the fantasy tight end, fantasy 1. Khalil Shakir is going to surprise a lot of people. Curtis Samuel with Joe Brady. Last time they hooked up was 2020 in Carolina. That was the best season of his career. They used him as a gadget guy out of the backfield and move him all over the place. And then Keon Coleman, very divisive prospect, but they really like him in Buffalo and think he can come on strong. So, hey, and don't forget about Carolina legend Mac Hollins.
It's still, honestly, I don't hate Mac Hollins there, but I still think it's a little bit of work in progress. But I love Buffalo. They are not the choice to win that division, which is amazing. I'm even more amazed that if it's not Buffalo, that the choice isn't Miami. But that's fine. It happens to be the Jets. I don't really want to talk about them unless they are the answer to one of these two questions. So give me a team that made the playoffs last year that you think will not this year.
The easy answer for me there is the Cleveland Browns because they played 5 quarterbacks. They got lucky in a lot of one-score games. They didn't profile as an 11-win team by their point differential. All these things point to regression. Jim Schwartz's defenses traditionally have sort of taken a step back in that second year. And then you have the Ravens being really good again. The Steelers are probably better at quarterback, I think. There'll be a challenge. And then, of course, you've got, maybe not. Who the hell knows with Russ and Justin Fields. But, if Joe Burrow is healthy for the season, then it just makes life a lot tougher in that division. I think the Chargers are a better team. I think the Jets are a better team. I think it's a tough pathway for the Browns to make it to the playoffs this year.
Is there a legitimate Super Bowl team playing tomorrow night?
Oh, yeah, 2 of them.
Yeah, I'm not bullish.
And by the way, the
I'm
Steelers
not
would be an
bullish on the
easy pick,
Eagles.
too. The Eagles are not a Super Bowl team?
I'm just not bullish on them. I think they're going to miss the playoffs.
I had them going 9-8. And I mean,
Okay.
I my Minchies are just jammed with Eagles fans calling me a loser and a clown and a Cowboys homer. And I mean, I'm two of those 3 things, 2 truths and a
I think
lie,
Green
guess.
Bay is a legit Super Bowl contender.
Look, Jordan Love, I think it was week 8 last year,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a little bit later. It was maybe like November 1st. There was a question, like the question was asked of Brian Gutekunst, the GM, is Jordan Love your franchise quarterback? And he's like, well, we don't know that right now. He needs to prove it in the second half of the season. It's a big, end of the season for a lot of people, including Jordan. And then Jordan Love went out and the way he played down the stretch,
crushed it.
If you extrapolate it over 17 games, he's the unanimous MVP because he would have thrown 38 touchdowns and 2 interceptions and like 4,000 passing yards. So he's a streaky guy. He got white hot down the stretch last year. They had Josh Jacobs, who I think is the best possible fit for what they want to do on offense, running the football. They have tons of weapons, young weapons. We don't really know how it's going to sort out as like the alpha, but like Romeo Doubs, Dontavian Wicks, who may not even start. Christian Watson has insane upside. Jaden Reed, right? And then you have Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave as well at the tight end position. So the upside is there for the Packers to win the Super Bowl. They're just gonna like. Are we going to see that from Jordan Love over the course of a season, or do we see a little more ups and downs? I sort of lean towards the latter. I think both the Eagles have 2 new offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator. They lose Jason Kelsey. They lose Fletcher Cox. I think they have more questions than most people do. I would lean towards the Packers as a more likely Super Bowl contender, but I think both are really interesting teams in that role.
Well, is Matt Patricia both the offensive and defensive coordinator? Is he neither?
No, have you not seen where he is?
No, I have no idea.
He's hosting the Bill Belichick coach show on Underdog Fantasy. So it's like, but they didn't say anything about Patricia being involved, and they sent out the first teaser, and it's like Belichick giving this answer about the Jets, and then the camera pans out, and you're like, is that Matt? Is that Mario, Super Mario, or is that Matt Patricia?
Wow.
Like doing the which one? And it's Matt Patricia, like who's
Kevin
hosting
Smith.
it.
It's actually Kevin Smith. It's not
yeah.
Matt Patricia. It's
But Belichick's
it's Silent
basically
Bob.
dragging. Yes, Bob. That's right. He's dragging Matt. He's not silent on this. He's dragging Patricia along for like his the reclamation project here.
He needs a gig. All right, who's your Super Bowl pick, and then we'll say goodbye.
Bills over Rams.
I think the Rams are a sneaky pick, man. I love that opener in Detroit. That is going to be spectacular. Will Brinson, you are spectacular. At Will Brinson on Twitter, repping Nike Golf
and Instagram. Yep.
And Instagram. We should put an Instagram up there too. We just have a Twitter. Or an X. I still call it Twitter. All right, well, we'll talk to you next. Talk to you on Monday. Next week.
Talk to you Monday, man.
Next week comes fast. All right, man. Take care.
All right, see you, buddy.
Will Brinson will join us every Monday as we sort the Sunday pile, if you will. All right, when we come back, one-timers, we have questions and answers next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
I am Bruno Hinojosa and I live in Asheville. I work in construction and I just enrolled in NC Medicaid. I went to their website, applied, and got covered. Doctor visits, yearly checkups, and even emergency care if I need it. Being a business owner can be stressful at times, but knowing that I got covered, it just takes weight off my shoulders. And I can get the care that I need when I need it at low or no cost. And it's one less thing I need to worry about now.
NC Medicaid is for more people. See if you qualify at medicaid.nc.gov.
Some call it overplanning. At Alternative Power, we call it foresight. Be prepared for the next power outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Generac, it's not just a generator, it's a power move. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
The 2024 elections are just around the corner, and older voters are the nation's most active. The AARP North Carolina Voters Guide has information about upcoming election dates, registration deadlines, and voting options in North Carolina, such as voting by mail, early voting, or voting with a disability. Find the guide in the voters section at aarp.org/NC and listen each week to AARP Without Limits for important election news and much more. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Having health insurance is important. So, if you or anyone in your family has Medicaid or CHIP, listen up. Check your mail for a renewal form from your state. Complete the form and mail it back right away so you don't lose your coverage. If you do lose Medicaid or CHIP, visit healthcare.gov to see if you're eligible to enroll in a low-cost, quality health plan. Keep your family covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
From the mountains to the coast, there is tremendous pride in North Carolina agriculture. NC Forever Farms is a program recognizing family farms that are protecting precious working lands vital to the future of agriculture. Through permanent agricultural conservation easements, these NC Forever Farms will always be protected from development. Learn more about preserving family farms through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services by visiting ncadfp.org.
Are you struggling with your Medicare drug costs? The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program may be able to help. The Extra Help and Medicare Savings programs are available for those who qualify, but you have to apply. Contact SHIP today to see if you qualify. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
Hi, I'm Dr. Miller, a dentist and a volunteer for Dental Lifeline Network. I learned about DLN shortly after graduating dental school. I wanted to help people who are not able to access the oral health care they need. As a new dentist, I wondered, do I have the skills to provide the care they need? And do I have the time when trying to build a new practice? Even now, after 10 years, I can tell other dentists, yes, you can, and this is a no-brainer. Dental Lifeline Network is a nonprofit that has helped me literally change the lives of people in my community through the Donated Dental Services program. DLN asks dentists to volunteer to see just one of the many patients in need each year. If you're a dentist or know a dentist, please share this important information. It's easy. DLN screens those in need and coordinates the initial appointment. Patients are treated right in your office on your schedule. If you're like me and want to make a real difference in someone's life, DLN makes it possible.
Go to willyouseeone.org to learn more. That's willyouseeone.org.
This is Adam Gold.
Victoria, you played sports in high school, right?
Oh, yeah. Basketball, and I swam.
Could you imagine competing for $1 million?
No.
$1 million.
No. I competed for plastic trophies.
I was also a high school athlete, baseball player. No, and I could never even imagine it.
No.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria's here. NFL season starts tonight. Remember, before we get to one-timers, remember I mentioned that Hassan Reddick for the Jets is still a holdout. Jets, of course, are not ruling him out for Monday's game. That's awesome. Here's what it has cost Hassan Reddick. Okay? Here's what it has cost. $5.07 million.
It's a bunch.
Just over $100,000 for missing minicamp. $2.05 million in accrued fines for missing training camp. He missed the preseason schedule. $2.375 million. $250,000 workout bonus and a $300,000 discretionary fine. Don't know what that's for. It was discretionary, though. And he will miss out on $791,666 for every regular season game he misses.
Wow.
$5.07 million and counting. And based on the CBA, all of those fines cannot be rescinded.
Well, that's going to sting.
Bless your heart. You know what? I get why you hold out, but part of me doesn't even want to be critical because I think players should get every cent, extract every ounce of blood from the stone you can get, because teams do that to them. I heard this about the Panthers as I was driving in. And I forget who I was listening to. I guess it was Unsportsmanlike on ESPN. But they were discussing Chuba Hubbard. And in the 4th year, he was a 4th-round pick, makes nothing, that the Panthers should absolutely abuse him this year because if he has a good year, I don't think the Panthers are going to pay him. They've got Jonathan Brooks waiting.
Yeah, no.
So Chuba Hubbard is essentially auditioning for the other 31 teams in the league.
Mm-hmm.
But the Panthers are going to beat the brakes off Chuba Hubbard. So for those people who have Chuba Hubbard on their fantasy team, maybe this will be a good unsung buy for you in later rounds.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I thought about adding him, but I can't. It's too close to home.
I understand.
Yeah.
Totally understand. One-timers.
Okay, so we've got a game tonight. So excited, the Ravens and the Chiefs. Now, these two teams, even though it's the first game of the regular season, they're obviously no strangers to each other, and the quarterbacks are no strangers to each other. So, considering that these two teams are playing each other tonight and their history, will this give us some really good insight on how either team's season might be this year?
Okay, here's the reality of the NFL season. Tonight is a great game. And last year in the opener, remember, Detroit beat Kansas City in the opener last year, and it kind of was a harbinger. Chiefs were really good, and the Lions ended up in the NFC Championship game in a game that I think Detroit fans think they should have won. And I don't disagree.
I don't either.
So this is an indication of what we can expect this year. It should be. But this is what when I look at the NFL season, and maybe this game doesn't necessarily fall into this category, I think the league, in the entire season, it's 3 different parts. There's the beginning, there's the middle you got to get through, and then the best teams crank it up the last 5 or 6 weeks. So every one of these teams, a couple of years ago when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, remember the middle of their season, we weren't sure they were going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, even last year.
Right, they got through it, cranked it up, ended up okay.
Mahomes had to be the whole team.
Yes.
Well, looking at the Ravens a little closer, do you believe Harbaugh will be in the hot seat if the Ravens? The Raisins. I mean, they might be all dried up by the end of the season. I don't know. I hope not. It's fun to watch them. Do you think if they do not make it to the Super Bowl, considering their playoff history or lack thereof, he might be in the hot seat?
I think they would have to have a disastrous season. I mean, remember, John Harbaugh was going to walk away a few years ago, but he decided to I think he's a great coach. I think there's a lot of similarities between John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin. So, no, I don't think he's on the hot seat. They would have to have a disastrous season, and I don't think they will. I think John Harbaugh will walk away from Baltimore before Baltimore pushes him out the door.
I could see that. It's hard to push the Harbaughs away. And probably last but not least, if there was one team, now that we're kicking the regular season off, that you think is maybe a sleeper team and people aren't talking enough about but might have a good season, who would you say that is?
Ooh, I think people are talking about them, but I like the Green Bay Packers this year.
I like Jordan Love.
I'm a Packer backer.
Yeah.
If you will.
There you go.
I got to choose a team.
Yeah.
I got to choose it. Maybe people can help me choose a team. I got to pick one. I don't know who it's going to. It might be the Packers. I might be Team Jordan Love this year. I don't know. All right, when we come back, the Commandos are in the news.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Today is the day the NFL officially kicks off the regular season with last year's Super Bowl champs, the Kansas City Chiefs, trying to three-peat this year, and the Baltimore Ravens hoping to make it further into the playoffs than last year. So, of course, this game is already going to be exciting, but putting a wager on it will make it that much more interesting. I'm Victoria Vodenecker here for BetMGM, and there's so many different routes you could take when making your predictions for tonight's game or any game. Who will be the first touchdown scorer? Will the first play be a field goal, touchdown, or punt? How many passing yards will Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson throw? When you use the BetMGM app, you're going to see options like live bets, prop bets, money line bets, same game parlays, and daily promotions that are geared to the hottest games of the day. All brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Download the app today and please gamble responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only, North Carolina only. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
You know Diamonds Direct for their exquisite diamonds and fine jewelry. What about luxury watches? With a handpicked collection by the industry's top timepiece experts, skip the waiting list and get the timepiece you've been eyeing right away. And this month only, enjoy 0% interest for 5 years on all the top brands. Imagine owning a $15,000 luxury watch for just $250 a month. Spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest on approved credit. Diamonds Direct, where you can shop direct for diamonds and watches.
Wait, she's posting pics with a dude in Mexico. We just broke up. If Heineken Silver was a doom-scrolling ex-boyfriend, it would have all the feels. None of the new boyfriend jealousy.
She looks happy. I'm gonna message her. Hey, Stace, loved the super cute post with @RideRyan7. Enjoy Mexico and that ceviche spot from last year. Send pics.
Heineken Silver, world-class light beer. Only 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories. All the taste, no bitter endings. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
Attention soccer fans, North Carolina FC invites you to be part of the excitement. Join us in our electrifying games with top-tier players, thrilling goals, and unforgettable moments. Experience the thrill of this beautiful game with North Carolina FC. Get your tickets now, northcarolinafc.com.
Adam Gold here from my friends at CertaPro Painters, and I call them my friends because I have used them before, and let me tell you, they know how important your home is to you. They made that clear to me. That's why they're focused on helping you bring a fresh color to your home, and they're great in even the hard-to-reach places we have vaulted ceilings. Each CertaPro Painters business is also independently owned and operated. In other words, they live right here in our community. You can schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, North Carolina's injury lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
The answer is the gap between Clemson and the best team in the country is exactly what the score indicated. So the answer is yes. Kirby Smart has found out the perfect remedy for how to use the transfer portal. Kirby Smart said this. After the game, Kirby Smart said, you have to use the transfer portal. He wasn't saying that about Clemson. He was talking about his own program. Right. You want to win, you got to do it.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. That was Heather Dinich from ESPN. That has triggered people. Those comments about Clemson have triggered Clemson fans. Heather Dinich went on to say, I think in that same conversation, that the ACC is a one-bid football conference now to the 12-team college football playoff, and that has bothered people. Hate to break it to you. She's probably right. The two brand schools, or actually I'll say this, there are 4 brand name football schools in the ACC. 4 of them. Florida State, Clemson, Miami, and Virginia Tech. And all were in that upper crust of teams we thought would compete for the ACC. Clemson, we saw what they did to Georgia, or what Georgia did to them. Florida State somehow managed to go 0-2 in week 1. Fell completely out of the rankings. Fair. Miami held up their end of the bargain. They went to Gainesville and beat the brakes off of Florida. And Virginia Tech went to Vanderbilt and lost to the worst team in the SEC. So, bad week. NC State was a winner and looked great in the fourth quarter, but struggled to impose their will on Western Carolina.
Yeah, first 3 quarters was rough.
They struggled.
Mm-hmm.
So that we're looking ahead to the game against Tennessee on Saturday night. NC State does not have any chance if their offensive line doesn't play better than it did against the Catamounts. Louisville was impressive at home over Austin Peay, but I think it was 62-0, something silly like that. And SMU needed a fourth quarter crazy comeback to win as a 27-point road favorite at Nevada. And then they beat somebody I'd never heard of at the end of week 1. They went 2-0 in week 1. Florida State went 0-2. Florida State's real damage was that both games were conference losses, and Florida State's schedule super hard the rest of the way. Like when Chip Patterson confirmed yesterday that Florida State's win total now in Vegas is 5.5. Like, what?
I know.
Do I think they're going to get to 6 wins? Yeah, I think they'll get to 6 wins. But, I mean, I've seen stranger things happen.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Never know.
If they just check out, who knows what's going to happen. Anyway, so the ACC could be, like, Clemson could be fine. Georgia could be that good. Clemson could be the best team in the ACC.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not going to face a team as good as Georgia the rest of the season.
Right.
So Clemson could end up, they could go 11-1.
Unfortunately for Georgia, even if they do have a really great season, it'll probably be overshadowed by another team. Like, they could have the same record as an SEC team. And
But if Clemson does win the next 11 and they go to the ACC championship game, then I think an 11-win Clemson team, because it would include wins over State and eventually Florida State, although you don't know what that win's going to be worth, and some other teams, because Clemson also has a difficult conference schedule, then I could see Clemson getting in. But that would be a wish, because I don't think Clemson's offense is good enough to win the next 11 games.
It's going to be tough.
So I'm not eliminating Clemson, but I am skeptical as to whether or not they can do what they need to do to get there. So what does that leave us? Miami. Oh, my gosh. Imagine relying on Miami.
Yeah.
Imagine relying on Mario Cristobal.
Oh, boy.
NC State, it didn't look awesome against Western Carolina. I mean, again, I give them a chance against Tennessee if their offensive line plays better. More about the running game than about anything else, but I think that's what has to happen. But other than that, it's okay. Like, we're probably looking at a one-bid league. It is what it is, people. So we shouldn't be mad in week 1 when people are saying what kind of we all think is probably going to happen.
Well, truth hurts sometimes for some people.
All right, speaking of truth hurting, The Washington, this can be take two, although we didn't do this yet, but we have this beautiful music, so let's use it. So I don't know how many people saw the story. And by the way, for the record, I have picked Washington to win the NFC East. I actually have backed it with a little money line sprinkle.
Units.
Yes, actual units went on it.
Right.
Plus 1,100 for Washington to win the division.
Well, that would work out.
Yeah,
well.
I don't have any faith in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I mean, Dallas is probably the better pick, but odds weren't as good. But the Commandos fired their vice president of content, somebody named Raleigh, who's been with the team had been with the team for 4 years. Before that, he was in a similar role with the New York Jets. So they suspended him yesterday pending an investigation. So apparently he was on a dating app. And on this dating app, he had 2 dates. I don't know if it was speed date. I don't know what it was. But he had 2 dates with somebody who, as it turns out, was an undercover reporter.
Oh, no.
Now, we could discuss legalities about all of this at some point, but this is what happened, okay? So he had 2 dates with this one reporter, and the reporter has not been named, by the way, which is fine, whatever. But in these 2 dates, Raleigh was recorded about where he said comments that a lot of players on Washington's team were anti-gay, that Jerry Jones was racist and anti-gay, and Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL, was a $50 million puppet. Before we get into the details here, I will simply say this. I'm not saying a majority, but some of what Raleigh said, probably true.
Right.
Probably
it's
true.
Not too hard to believe.
Right. I'm not saying what, but some of this is probably true, because when you're around a football team, you're around a professional team, when you're around an organization, and your job is to spit out content, you hear a lot of things. All right. So they fired this guy. A team spokesman said the language used in the video runs counter to our values at the Commanders organization. Sure, to the organization, but maybe not necessarily to some individuals. So here's what Ntine told the undercover reporter. Over 50% of our roster is white, religious, and God says F the gays. Okay. He went on to say that's their interpretation. I don't buy any of that. What kind of date was this?
I know.
You got really personal.
I know.
On this date.
Maybe you should go to a movie. Don't talk to people. I don't know what's going on.
Another big chunk is low-income African Americans that comes from a community that is inherently very homophobic. Again, what are we doing?
Interesting conversations.
Where did they go?
What did they drink?
Oh my God. Also, this person said that some players are dumb as hell. Some people making these comments also dumb as hell. And said some who were smart don't stay that way after getting hit in the head too many times. I mean, okay. He also said those who get their heads knocked around a few times are more susceptible to conspiracy theories. Sounds to me like Ntine, not very bright. So he went on to say that the NFL's social justice initiatives are performative, which I absolutely agree with. I am certainly not against those initiatives, but I don't believe the NFL does. I don't believe they care about it apart from what the public relations says to them. Because remember when they got around to it and who was driving it. It wasn't the league. Like the NBA has social justice initiatives that were driven by the players in the league. Not a PR game. The players were driving it. Think of how many NBA players didn't even want to be in the bubble during when we got back to that season. So anyway, we'll end it there. But it's a fascinating read. You can get to it on ESPN.com. But yes, Ray Allen fired by the Washington Commandos.
And maybe whatever dating app you used, you shouldn't use that again. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm trying to think. I actually think in the story, Hinge. Hinge was the dating app. I've never heard of it.
I don't know.
Never heard of it. Yeah.
Well, he definitely came unhinged, so there's that.
There you go.
Thank you.
There you go. All right, back to football when we return. So Duke picked up a home win over Elon, and now they go to one of the most beautiful temporary settings in college football. They will play Northwestern tomorrow night. Dave Harding will join us to talk about it next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
We're kicking it this fall with college football. Join 99.9 The Fan all season long and catch your favorite teams in action. The ACC, the SEC, and every conference that matters. You'll find the best matchups here.
Jordan Moore delivers, and the Blue Devils have the lead.
College football on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford and by Amedios.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and it's NFL week, and we have a special offer for you. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV, and then with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment. You can cancel at any time. Done with the Panthers and Saints? Check in on Russell Wilson and the Steelers in Atlanta. Oh, don't you know you want to do that? FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. Download America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. Go Russ! 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Full price of NFL Sunday Ticket will be automatically charged seasonally after free trial. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The new bonus edition Buck Scratch-Off's got a first ever bonus game in the Outback.
You mean on the back, not Outback.
What's on the back?
The bonus game.
Then what's on the front?
Prizes up to $1 million.
I thought the game was called Bucks.
It is. Just forget it.
Crikey, mate. Don't go telling people to forget it. The whole point is for them to be remembering it.
The all-new bonus edition Buck Scratch-Offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 3.81 to 4.75. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Homeowners, listen up. Loan Pronto now has mortgage rates that start with a 4. Hey, it's Dennis Cox for Loan Pronto. It's true. Mortgage rates have plummeted to lows we haven't seen in a long time. If your current rate is over 6%, you can dump it and lower your house payment big time. Loan Pronto just locked in a homeowner with a 4.99% APR. Whether you got your loan last week, last month, or last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto. Even if you're in the process with another lender, stop now and call Loan Pronto. Ask about their zero-cost reduction home loan. You can lock in a lower rate with no closing costs in a matter of days with almost no paperwork paperwork and usually no appraisal. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now. Loan Pronto can give you a rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 919-381-1760 or loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. On approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
At Lowe's, save big every day when you buy in bulk. Save 10% when you buy a pallet or more of select concrete mix. And there's more. Save up to 25% when you buy a pallet or more of select drywall panels. Plus, get free same-day delivery to the job site when you order by 2 p.m. Because Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
This is Adam Gold.
Thank you very much for your time, man. We will talk again.
Adam, anytime for you, my friend.
Thank you. I don't know why it makes me laugh. Why does it make me laugh?
I don't know. Maybe you just are used to people being mean to you or something, like Twitter. I don't know.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Dave Harding will join us in just a couple of minutes. Executive Director, Blue Devil Network, also analyst, Duke Radio Network. Blue Devils are at Northwestern. They're building a new stadium in Evanston. And I think they are playing in a temporary home that I believe butts up against Lake Michigan. And it is spectacular. A great setting, even though it is simply a temporary home. All right, so let's get into, while we wait on Dave, let's get into some of the expectations. I'll start with the Panthers. And if anybody wants to comment on this, you can go to we're on YouTube. You can put it in the chat. You can hit me up on Twitter at @AGoldFan. Whatever you want. Victoria, you can, same thing. And I want your feedback on this too, because you are the Panthers fan here.
Yeah.
I am not a Panthers fan, right? I really don't have a favorite NFL team any longer. And we will get into why that is at some point during maybe this whole block. So what are the expectations that Panthers fans should have? And again, we'll talk more broadly about the Panthers. Anish Shroff's going to join us tomorrow. We'll get his take on what he sees from them. But what are reasonable expectations for the Panthers this season? What do you have as a reasonable expectation?
So I would say happily, I would be good with them if they doubled what they did last year. So if we could get 4 to 5 wins,
what were they?
2.
2?
Yeah, they got 2.
2-15. That's hard to do.
So, if they got 4 or 5 wins, I would be happy with that because it at least shows progression. So.
All right. In my opinion, I have no idea how many wins this kind of relates to. I wouldn't care what their record is. They'll win games by accident.
Sure.
They couldn't have been worse than they were last year, and they won twice.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So they're going to win some games. It's hard to win 2 games in a 17-game NFL season. So my guess is they'll win 4, 5, 6, maybe even 7 games. But my expectations for them have nothing to do with how many times they win. My expectations for them, what I want to see from the Panthers, is simply the quarterback look like he belongs. I want to see somebody. It bothers me that Xavier Legette is not thought of more ready today.
Yeah.
After a training camp.
That hamstring injury kind of pushed things back, I think.
Yeah, but he also, by his own admission, he wasn't performing the way he felt like he should have performed early in training camp before the injury set in.
Yeah.
But I want to see the emergence of weapons on their offense. And I know Ian Thomas is not going to play in the opener. And it's 50-50 for Tommy Tremble to play in the opener. But to be fair, neither of those guys, to me, are weapons.
No.
Right?
No.
It's about Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's the tight end that we want to see emerge in the passing game. I want to see Adam Thielen be a third or fourth option. He won't be first because that will be Deontay Johnson.
Right.
Right? But I want to see Adam Thielen get passed over. I don't want him the second receiving option on this team because the truth is that I know Jordan Matthews is brought back.
Mm-hmm.
They got rid of him, then they brought him back. Great. Super story. He should be your second tight end option.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully behind Jatavian Sanders. But also, guys got to block.
Yeah.
And I don't think you're looking to Sanders or Matthews to be that. So you got to find a tight end who can do both. And they said they're going to be a 2 tight end, 2 wide receiver, 1 back offense.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with it too.
Mm-hmm.
You don't necessarily need a second running back in there. I mean, this is not 1986 anymore.
No.
Where you have a blocking fullback. Some teams still use a fullback.
Yeah.
That's okay. But
this year's definitely just gearing us up for a good, successful next year. I feel like I'm good as long as they get some continuity with each other. They, get comfortable with one another. They get a rhythm. That's what I want to see. And then they'll just fall into some wins at that point. But this is setting them up for next year.
So I'm going to paint a scenario where the Panthers show us a lot and actually have almost as bad of a record as they had last year. Because I think it is a viable possibility. Offense looks good. Dave Canales does what he does, turn quarterbacks into something. He did it with Geno Smith. He did it with Baker Mayfield. I think he'll do it with Bryce Young. And Jonathan Mingo takes a step forward. Xavier Leggett takes him half a year, but he finally gets with the program. Deontay Johnson is all that. Chuba Hubbard has a big year. A tight end emerges as a viable pass-catching threat. But the defense suffers because I think the defense has the potential to suffer. Whether it's J.C. Horn can't stay on the field, which hopefully that will not be the case, but history tells us it has been. He's played 40% of the game since he was drafted. They can't get pressure on the quarterback because Jadeveon Clowney's the only guy. Defensive line is good, but beyond Derek Brown, nobody is great. Secondary can't find a second cornerback to go opposite Horn if he's able to stay healthy. So I could see a scenario where the Panthers are significantly better offensively, but also significantly worse defensively, and it looks record-wise similar. But to me, that would be fine. Because I think in the NFL, you can fix a defense a whole lot faster than you can fix an offense.
Big time, yeah.
So, expectations for this team, and again, I don't have an emotional investment. I want to see the offense look representative of being an NFL offense. And I think if Dave Canales can do that, I believe that the Panthers have taken a positive step forward regardless what the record is. Dave Harding, Executive Director, Blue Devil Network, analyst, Duke Radio Network, heading to, I think, the most picturesque temporary home in college football. Duke at Northwestern tomorrow night. And it becomes a big game, not only for Duke, but for the ACC. Got to get Power 5 or Power 4 wins. Dave, how do you feel based on what you saw against Elon?
I'm feeling pretty good. I think Duke's off to a pretty crisp start. And when you look at opening games, one of the big things, obviously, to survey is how well or how focused the team was and did they shoot themselves in the foot all that often. And I don't think Duke did, especially defensively. Got out with 16 TFLs. They were, there's so much talk coming into that game and into the season about how aggressive this group wants to be on defense. And, 16 tackles for loss, regardless of who your opponent is difficult to do. And we saw that defensive unit in particular play really clean, not many assignment busts, sound in the secondary. And again, I think that's rare. Even in like a scrimmage going into during the preseason, going into a game, you rarely see a defense operate as cleanly as Duke's defense did. So definitely a reason for optimism there. Special teams, I thought, were crisp also. Offensively, I think you're feeling optimistic because obviously you won the game. You were able to hit on some explosive plays. But I think the big reason for optimism, if you're a Duke fan, is they haven't even scratched the surface of what they're capable of doing. I'd say they left at least 200 yards receiving out on the field on Friday night with near drops where it's a long ball trying to stretch the defense vertically, and it just slipped through the receiver's hands by a matter of inches. So I know, close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, but I think if there was a place where you look and see, an area where that cliche, the most improvement happens in a football season from week 1 to week 2, if you're looking for improvement, it's on the offensive side. It wasn't all that bad to begin with, but I think if they can put that chemistry together a little bit more, especially in the passing game, they could be really explosive.
Yeah, no, Dave Harding is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Back to the defense real quick. We'll unpack the offense in a second. To me, that was in some ways, like for people who didn't watch, Duke's explosive, like you talk about big plays on offense. I thought it was Duke's big plays on defense that really helped them because I kind of thought Elon they were kind of effective moving the football, but there were sacks and big plays on the defense that ultimately put Elon behind the chains and forced punts and whatnot. So I thought that their big play capability on the defensive side of the ball, and this is a team that had to replace everybody on the defensive line. I thought that was impressive. I agree. It was only a 3-point total for Elon at the end of the night. Yeah. But I was impressed time and time again by their ability to stay on the field despite some of these massive negative plays. Yeah. And so you got to give them credit for kind of picking themselves off the mat over and over. But yeah, I mean, the defense was without question the highlight of the night, the big story, and the depth along the defensive line. To your point, you lose Jamion Franklin, Dwayne Carter up front, a few others in the transfer portal. What are you going to have? In the cupboard, I would say, is not empty at all. There's a solid, I'd say 2 deep along the defensive line of players that clearly understand the scheme, and it is a different defensive scheme than what we saw last year from Duke. They're not really hat reading. They're trying to get into a gap. Everybody kind of has one gap that they're focused on, and it's go attack that gap as hard as you possibly can. And you can see them buying into that. And I think they've got a group, maybe not when you look on paper, their heights aren't going to stick out to you. Weight might be a little bit lower than what would normally pop, but they're perfectly suited for what this scheme is asking them to do. It's really sell out and clog holes up front. Dave Harding is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show at Dave Harding Jr. on Twitter, Executive Director, Blue Devils Network. The offense had a hard time running the football. Is that a concern of yours? It is, especially when you kind of pair it with what Northwestern was able to do defensively. They only gave up, I think it was 40 yards on the ground to Miami, Ohio last week. So you've got a stout Big Ten defensive front they're going on the road to play there. And Elon played defense differently than Northwestern will. Elon sold out against the run. Right. They basically said, Duke, we're going to load the box, and you're going to have to hit on some of these deep balls to beat us. Duke was able to do that. And they were assisted, obviously, by the defense getting off the field so much, and the offense had a ton of opportunities at it. But for Duke to be successful this week and moving on through the rest of the season, I don't think they can afford to be
one-dimensional. You brought Malik Murphy in. Everybody knows what kind of arm strength he has. The strength of the offense is in the wide receiver room with the depth that they have and the experience that they have there. But the offensive line, who, in the spring was a big concern. They played the spring game basically without one, and were able to fill a lot of gaps, whether that was getting injured players back or getting some players that have contributed right away in the transfer portal. But they're going to have to shore some things up front. I thought pass protection was strong, but chemistry often talked about in the throwing game between the quarterback and the receivers. I think the chemistry up front for the Blue Devils between the offensive line and the running backs is something that we can see improve from game 1 to game 2, where you saw a few times schematically maybe the play is designed for the running back to cram it in along the line of scrimmage, get north quickly, and instead decided to bounce, and vice versa. So I think a few slight adjustments there, and similar to what we said in the passing game, where if you can just get the ball to be a little different spot or have the receiver understand where Malik Murphy's trying to lead them a little bit better, you've got an opportunity to be really effective. I think that's where they are, and I expect them to have cleaned some of those things up heading into Northwestern, because Northwestern, interestingly, Adam, does not load the box. They're going to play with their D-line and linebackers pretty light box, put more assistance into the secondary. And so the Blue Devils, if they're not able to run, against a relatively basic front, it could be a long day.
Dave Harding is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. As an old offensive lineman, and you're not old, by the way, I'm probably twice your age, but as an old offensive lineman, how does that unit get better from week 1 to week 2? Because it's not just at Duke. We could say the same thing about NC State, that has to be significantly better on the offensive line after their matchup with Western Carolina heading into the game against Tennessee. I'd say the same thing about UNC against Minnesota last Thursday night, even if they're playing Charlotte. So how does an offensive line improve from week 1 to week 2?
I think a lot of people, when they think offensive line play, first of all, to go back to your point about being old, what if there's a fact that we could both be old, Adam? That's a concern.
Only one of us in this conversation is old.
Okay.
I know you.
Appreciate it. But to the offensive line play, people think it's a lot of just being physical. And that's definitely the majority of what you need out of an offensive line from a characteristic perspective. But, I'm just going to take Duke, for instance. I think they are a physical front. That's a group that gets off pretty well, good pad leverage. Then it comes into the technique piece of it and how long you're hanging on a double team, how quickly do you work up to a linebacker. And a lot of that happens with reps. And so you'll see an offensive line improve just in the technique element and the chemistry of understanding where to go, when to move, how much help somebody might need versus another person, understanding the strengths and the weaknesses of the people along the line so you can game plan more appropriately for that. That's how you see a group improve. And I don't think there's enough conversation also about how the running back factors in. They've got to understand those exact same things of, hey, the hole might not look like it's there, but as soon as the right guard moves up to the linebacker, it's gonna open up immediately. Everything looks jammed up for the initial 2 seconds of the play. Trust it, press in there. Don't bounce to the outside because they've got a safety and the defensive ends there. Believe that lineman is going to work up to the next level, and that's when things open up. So there's a trust in the chemistry that can only be developed with reps. And, the unfortunate thing for Duke, and I think for a lot of these offensive lines across the country with the way the transfer portal is working and how these in the spring period, there's so much flux during that time that you lose out on a lot of the opportunity to build that chemistry and build that understanding from one player to the next along the front. And that really has an impact early in the season. At each game, you should start to see that improve.
It's a big game for Duke. Dave Harding, I appreciate your time, my friend, at Dave Harding Jr., Dave Harding Jr. on Twitter. You have the best pad leverage of any guest we have on this program.
I love it. I got to have hands in tight too,
Yeah, we
Strike
all do.
with just a vicious nature. Yeah. Okay. I think we're getting close to game time. I'm starting to feel it.
All right, put your helmet on, sir. I will talk to you very soon, my man. I'll talk to you later.
All right, have a good one.
You too. Dave Harding here on the Adam Gold Show. I'm really not sure what any of the last part of that meant.
Yeah, sounds
good. Just to get back to the conversation we were having before about expectations for the Panthers, and I wanted to kind of expand it into I don't have the emotional tie, right? I've brought that up enough because I can be without getting into the impatience part of it. So when it comes to the last several Panthers coaches, and I'll go back to Ron Rivera, okay? And that was a pretty good long run for a head coach. My opinion was in year 2, I was ready to go. Again, remember, I'm not the fan. I didn't think Ron Rivera was a good coach in year 2. And then we somehow got to the Riverboat Ron, which to me was always a fallacy anyway, because he wasn't like doing anything that was, wow, this is crazy. Going for it on 4th down, on 4th and 2, with the greatest single short yardage weapon in the history of the sport. Why was that considered gambling? No, that was actually the percentage play. If they dialed into analytics a little bit more, then they would have done it on a regular. But Rivera became, to me, a good coach. And he was an offensive version and a better version of John Fox, who was a good coach for the Panthers. So, right or wrong about Rivera, I backed off of nope, he's got to go. But I said this after year 1 of Matt Rule, no good. No good. Oh, you got to keep him, Nope. I don't have to keep him. I'm not a fan.
Never wanted him.
I'm telling you, he's no good. We got into year 3 with Matt Rule, and then they went, yeah, no good.
And then I'm here like, yeah, duh. Told ya.
Right, exactly. So the real mistake was not retaining Steve Wilkes. That was the real mistake.
Yeah, that one stung.
I didn't hate what they did, but to me, Wilkes had earned the trust of the locker room, and while you don't let the players make your decision for you, there is a trust factor, and you knew you were going to have a lot of those players back.
Yeah, well, and they went back to their roots.
Right, and he recognized what they were. And run. And then Frank Reich comes in, and then we get we want to be this, we want to have this, different philosophies. All right, so, okay. And there were a lot of different people throwing ingredients into a stew that tasted terrible. And as it turned out, yeah, that had to end too. So I'm, like I said, about what I think the expectations for the Panthers are. Dave Canales and company turned that into a credible-looking offense. I don't want the defense to be bad, but I think the ingredients are there for the defense to take a major step back. And if you look at the underlying numbers and don't use things like total yards, they weren't a good defense last year. And I wouldn't care, and I won't care what the record is if the offense looks like, okay, the quarterback is fine, we're developing receivers, the offensive line is starting to gel, big, and we talked about this with Dan Morgan yesterday. Morgan's fine with Ike Ekwonu. I think he's right now hoping.
Yeah.
And maybe they've seen a lot in practice. That's fine.
So.
I hope Ike Ekwonu is one of the coolest people that has come through NC State. Great kid, local kid. I want him to do well. So I am rooting for him. But it's very possible that ain't it.
Yes, very possible.
And that the Panthers will be looking for a left tackle in this upcoming draft or in free agency. And if that's the case, that's the case.
I feel like I've been saying the same thing now for years, which is nothing new with the Panthers. I just want progression in the right direction. Yeah. That's the main thing. You'll fall into wins.
As a Mets fan since I could remember breathing, most of my existence as a Mets fan has been bad to mediocre teams. And when you're bad, you're simply trying to find signs of good.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we are, I believe, with the Panthers, who haven't made the playoffs since 2018?
Long time.
2017?
I think so. That was around that time, I think.
They didn't make the playoffs the year that Cam got hurt, did they?
Mm-mm.
No.
Feels forever
They were
ago,
6-2, and then they
Mm-hmm.
and the dumper because of the injury. So yeah, I guess it's 2017 is the last time they made playoffs.
They almost snuck in with Steve Wilkes. They were like a game away.
Well, they got to 8-8, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking for signs that they have a chance to be good.
Same.
I will explain a little bit later on why I am in search of a team for this year. I'm not going to make a show of it, although we probably should. I know on ESPN Radio what Michelle Smallman.
Right, she did a whole Bachelorette
thing. I've never watched the show once.
Yeah, you're not missing anything.
So I'm not giving anybody a rose.
Yeah.
And I think watching the NFL without a team that I'm like, my wife's a 49ers fan, but it's more she was a 49ers fan, so okay, I'll still be a 49ers fan.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, she watches them and she dreams of Joe Montana.
I was going to say, is it like Garoppolo days or is it further out?
Oh, it's Joe Montana.
Yeah.
Oh, you should see the poster that we have in the garage.
In her woman cave?
Yeah, we don't have any cave. The barn, but it's not in the barn, it's in the garage. Yeah, she loves Joe Montana, and frankly I do too, but
yeah.
But I mean, I could root for the 49ers in a heartbeat.
Sure.
I love McCaffrey.
Instead of roses, you could get a pretzel. Like, just
there you go.
I'm trying to think of football.
I'm all about the San Francisco 49ers being good again. All right, when we come back, we're going to stretch, and we will place bets, and I will tell you, I told you. Next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's NFL week, and FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, is celebrating with a special offer. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. And then, with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel at any time. Just visit FanDuel.com, promo code AGS to download America's #1 sportsbook today. FanDuel.com, promo code AGS for FanDuel. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Full price of NFL Sunday Ticket will be automatically charged seasonally after free trial. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Some call it overplanning. At Alternative Power, we call it foresight. Be prepared for the next power outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Generac, it's not just a generator, it's a power move. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
The 2024 elections are just around the corner, and older voters are the nation's most active. The AARP North Carolina Voters Guide has information about upcoming election dates, registration deadlines, and voting options in North Carolina, such as voting by mail, early voting, or voting with a disability. Find the guide in the voters section at aarp.org/NC and listen each week to AARP Without Limits for important election news and much more. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Did you and your family lose North Carolina Medicaid and need health coverage? Check this out. You may be eligible to enroll in a low-cost health plan at healthcare.gov. With the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov offers quality plans that cover doctor visits, prescriptions, emergency care, and more. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
From the mountains to the coast, there is tremendous pride in North Carolina agriculture. NC Forever Farms is a program recognizing family farms that are protecting precious working lands vital to the future of agriculture. Through permanent agricultural conservation easements, these NC Forever Farms will always be protected from development. Learn more about preserving family farms through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services by visiting ncadfp.org.
Are you struggling with your Medicare drug costs? The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program may be able to help. The Extra Help and Medicare Savings programs are available for those who qualify, but you have to apply. Contact SHIP today to see if you qualify. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
Everyone goes through tough times, and everyone can get through them, as long as they don't have to do it alone. Dial 988 if you need someone to talk to. Get what you need to get to a better place. Together, we'll find the care that works best for you. We're here 24/7. Call, text, or chat 988. 988. Let's get through it together. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
This is Adam Gold.
We had lightning hit a pretty large tree.
Oh, yeah.
About 150 yards from the house. It'll be my sign to go win the lottery. But you know what? I'm sorry, I can't. I have rules. If it's not over $1 billion, I'm not playing.
Yeah, still just millions.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Do we have a theme on bump music today?
No, I'm just kind of doing all kinds of stuff.
It's kind of old school, so I figured.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a theme I wasn't picking up on, which happens 3 times a week.
Yeah. Sometimes I like to theme it up, but then every now and again I just go with the randoms.
I'm just trying to stay up to date.
Yeah.
All right, let's stretch.
Well, if you wanted to stay up to date with my Cubbies, then they had a great game last night. I'm going to take this moment to give my Cubs some love. They got their 18th no-hitter in franchise history, and this is the second combined one that they had. The last one was 52 years ago. Let's go Cubs. So, yeah. Sorry, I had to get my little excitement out there. Now, moving on to other potential exciting things, maybe. This artist is actually coming to Raleigh, I want to say at some point this month, but Jelly Roll, he's real popular. I don't know a lot about Jelly Roll, but George Kittle knows a lot about Jelly Roll.
Does he?
And he wants him to be the halftime show for the Super Bowl this year because George Kittle was on a podcast and was asked who he wanted to have as a halftime show for the Super Bowl, and he immediately was like, Jelly Roll. This would be a great idea.
I've heard good things.
Yes, there are a lot of people who love Jelly Roll. So, just in case you were wondering, the last country artist to sing at the halftime show was Shania Twain back in 2003. So, 21 years ago.
2003?
Yes.
Well, we hear from, what's her name, before every Sunday night football game.
Oh, Taylor Swift.
No, not Taylor Swift.
Oh, because she was old school. Well, country before.
Who's
Oh, Carrie Underwood.
Carrie Underwood, right.
Yes, that one. But Shania Twain was also joined with No Doubt and Sting. So the last complete country halftime was all the way back to 1994. That had Clint Black, Tanya Tucker, Travis Tritt, Winona, and Naomi Judd. So, who knows? Maybe they'll Maybe they'll throw a bone for George Kittle and let them do that. But who knows? We'll see. Now, this is not so great, and I have to deal with this every day like a lot of people do. You might as well, but rush hour. If you've ever noticed, it feels like it's rush hour all the time.
Yes, it does.
Well, that's because it kind of is now. So there was a study done, and there are just more cars on the road. I guess the pandemic kind of spread things out, so they said that the midday rush hour is worse than ever. So it's basically all the time. They are still keeping it, though, between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. I'm here to tell you, in the Raleigh area, rush hour goes to almost 7. So...
Yeah. Well, our rush hour is really just in different places. Like just a little one.
Yes.
We don't have that many people. Like, get on, the Southern Wake Expressway? There's never anybody on it, ever.
Well, I'm here to tell you Capitol Boulevard's evil. So that one's the worst at all times of the day. So just in case you were wondering, yes, rush hour is just nonstop now. So all the people. And this is a sweet thing you might be interested in hearing. So Hormel, the canned meat company, is launching a new product. And it's sweet, though. It's Black Label Bacon, but it has Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal on it.
What?
Sort of. So, hear me out. What they're doing is they're doing the sweet and salty combination thing. So, they're not actually putting the cereal onto it, and they're not putting cereal or bacon in your cereal. It's called Cinnadust, and they are putting it on thick slices of bacon, letting it sit overnight for optimal flavor, as they put it, and it'll give you a sweet, salty mix. I think this might be delicious, so I would 100% try this. You can get Black Label Cinnamon Toast Crunch Bacon at Walmart September 16th.
That sounds fine.
I
got no
know.
problem with a little sweet on the bacon.
I 100% would try that.
My kid puts the bacon on top of the pancakes and pours the syrup on it.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, it all meshes together.
Fine.
It's a great combination.
It's all going in the same place.
I know. You know what else might be a great combination? Some good picks.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
So, 2 of my 3 hit yesterday. Mets minus a run and a half over Boston, plus 190. Jessica Pegula won her quarterfinal match at the U.S. Open at plus 245. We lost the Daniil Medvedev, but if you were paying attention, you probably came out on the good end of it.
Yeah.
So, I'm here for you.
One day I didn't go with my cubbies, so I didn't want to jinx it. So, but today, all football, all pigskin. Give me a touchdown score for tonight. Let me go with Zay Flowers because he had a really good season last year, so maybe he'll pick up where he left off.
All right, let's do the Baltimore Ravens plus 3 and under 46.5 in tonight's game. I think the Chiefs actually win this game, but I anticipate this game being tight and low scoring. So the Ravens plus and the under plus 225.
Oh, there you go. My second one was going to be just the Ravens outright to win because that isn't as big, but it's plus 130. So just any which way you want. It could be by a point, but it's plus 130.
All right, we have a women's semifinal tonight at the National Tennis Center. Emma Navarro, University of Virginia product, by the way, and an NCAA champion, taking on Irina Sabalenka. I think it's Irina. Could be wrong there. Navarro plus 333. Upset City. I've actually backed this with you. So there you go. Tennis, I have not been terrible in tennis.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's one thing I have not explored yet.
Go, Emma.
My last one, since I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens to win tonight's game, the win margin, however, I think it's going to be between 1 and 13 points, and that's 175, plus 175. So anywhere in between there.
Big range.
I know. That's what I thought, too. They could get a touchdown and a field goal.
Seems like they're giving money away.
I know.
Over there. All right. So it's no fun to pick MVP if you just pick the favorite. It's easy to go, oh, Patrick Mahomes wins the MVP. I get it. he probably is going to win the MVP. But if Miami is good, and I think Miami will be good, Tyreek Hill at plus 10,000.
Wow.
Yes.
Tyreek Hill.
Yes.
What?
At plus 10,000 to be the MVP. And I realize quarterbacks get the MVPs all the time. But if Tyreek Hill gets, an 1,800-yard season and scores 15 touchdowns, he's going to be in the mix. So give me Tyreek Hill plus 10,000 to win MVP.
It's a great number.
Of the
wow.
That
a dollar
blew
bet
me
would be
right. Exactly. Here, take $100 for $1. We'd do that any day of the week. All right. When we come back, a story you don't care about.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here from my man, Coach Pete Deruta, Capital Financial Advisory Group in Apex. He is the retirement planning specialist, and people have asked me, Adam, why are you calling him coach? He's not a coach. He's a financial planner. Yeah, well, he's got a game plan for your retirement. Coaches have game plans, and maybe you are in the financial red zone. See, it's a football term since the football season is starting, and you can ask him about it. Ask him how we score in the financial red zone. Coach Pete Deruta can help. All you have to do is call or text. Call 888-843-0013 or text my name, Adam, to 600-700, and Coach Pete Deruta and his merry band of fiduciaries, which means they are legally obligated to do right by you, they will design for you a total customized retirement plan to get you to retirement with everything you need to live the life you want. It's a $1,000 value, yours free today. 888-843-0013 for Coach Pete Deruta.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts.
The kick is good!
Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
Caesars Sportsbook is the only sportsbook app with Caesars rewards. Win or lose, every bet you place brings you closer to perks only Caesars can offer. Hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the app using the promo code Radio1000 and you'll place your first bet today. If you win, great. If not, you'll get it back as a bonus bet up to $1,000. Must be 21 plus and physically present in North Carolina. New users only must register using eligible promo code. First bet after registration must qualify. Max bonus bet $1,000. Bonus bet expires 14 days after receipt. Void where prohibited. See Caesars.com/promos for full items. Tribal Casino Gaming Enterprise is a licensed operator by the North Carolina State Lottery Commission. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
From the Canes to the Panthers to all of the college sports in the Triangle, we cover it all on the Best of the Drive with Tim Donnelly podcast. Brought to you by Coach Pete at Capital Financial Advisory Group. Visit us at capitalfinancialusa.com.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want? Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. J.D. Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number Limited Edition Smart Bed. Limited time. For J.D. Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Raleigh's injury lawyers.
Bounces his way into the end zone. Touchdown,
Visit GotBrian.com.
That's GotBrian.com. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
Well, to me, the most disappointing thing looking at them is their defensive running game. Because we thought last week, at Georgia Tech, their run team, big physical offensive line, they ran for 190 yards. And maybe it's new guys just learning the defense, some transfers in. They lost a lot of talent to the NFL. They gave up 267 yards rushing to Boston College. That is a major concern as the season moves forward because they cannot control the tempo of a game if the other team can run the ball at will. And they weren't explosive runs. They were 6, 8, 10-yard runs over and over and over. They can't control the line of scrimmage.
Oh, man, more dirt on Florida State. Hopefully the Seminoles will snap back to it. But as Chip Patterson told us yesterday, it's every chance they just pack it in. Like, what are you playing for now? There's a lot of players in that locker room that are not necessarily invested in the program. It was transfer, win. That's pretty much done. So how does everybody react? We'll talk more about the Seminoles and the rest of the ACC tomorrow and, of course, on Monday when we kind of sort through it all. We're going to get to the story that absolutely you don't care about, that people who are involved think you do. I'm going to make this a thing. People think this is a big deal. I'm telling you it's not a big deal, but it is also worth a few minutes of discussion. People are going, what the hell? Just get to it. I'm going to make you wait just a little bit longer for it.
Exactly.
Wallace, time for the Wall of Sound.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
So a shorter chance on the odds board for NFL MVP than Tyreek Hill, who again at plus 10,000 was what? Really? Like, it just seems plausible. Even though we haven't had a while. I think the last 6 MVPs are Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. There's only three players who won the last 3 MVPs. And Aaron Rodgers.
Wasn't
Rodgers twice,
yes.
Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. Those are the last 6 most valuable players in the NFL.
Wasn't Christian McCaffrey, though, in the running last year?
I'm sure he was.
If the
Should've
49ers had won, I think he was like a big contender.
Should have been because he was amazing.
Yep.
So, but it's hard for a non-quarterback to win the MVP. With that said, yeah, I could see Tyreek Hill if Miami is as good as I think they can be, at least offensively, because I think he could be a 2,000-yard receiver. Jalen Waddle they should be really good offensively. And I think they're going to try to be really good offensively. They might not be as good defensively. Anyway, Dominique Foxworth, he and Mina Kimes and Bill Barnwell joined their podcasts together. This is now about 5 days ago. We've been saving this. And he's got as he said, a spicy take for MVP of the NFL.
I'll start since I'm the spiciest. I'll start with the spiciest take, and it's my show. Caleb Williams wins the MVP of the entire league, which only happened once before with our guy, Jim Brown. One difference I would say between Caleb Williams and CJ Stroud, I think the MVP award is often about expectations and how you live to those expectations. I think the assumption is that if you overshoot the expectations, that's probably good, but I don't think so. I think the MVP in most cases is an award that comes with a little bit of hype, and CJ Stroud had a long distance to cover. If CJ Stroud entered the league as the second coming, number 1 overall pick, a guy who teams have been kind of waiting for years in the way that had a couple of Heisman trophies under his belt, I think the expectations are different and it does give you a chance. So if Caleb Williams, if last year completely repeats itself and all the quarterbacks have underachieving like years and the race seems open and Caleb's able to do something close but probably has to be better, which isn't crazy, than what CJ Stroud did, then I think he's in the conversation, in part because he's entered as a number 1 overall pick with this type of hype in a major city with history around it that has never had a quarterback.
It goes on forever. I think Dominique Foxworth makes some good points there, on top of the fact that I think you need to look at the fact that the Bears seem to have a pretty good offense.
Yeah, they did it the right way.
Right? Yeah, see, again, Panthers fans might look at Caleb Williams and go, why didn't... And I'm with you.
Yeah, last year it was Stroud. This year it'll be Williams.
Yeah. The Bryce Stroud thing to me is different because, A, you made the choice, and I know people don't want to believe it, but way more people liked Bryce Young than C.J. Stroud.
Mm-hmm.
If the Texans had the first pick, they'd have taken Bryce Young, not C.J. Stroud.
I can see that.
So that's about a choice, and I also think it's about the circumstances, Carolina versus a better coached and a better equipped offense.
Yeah, Texans had options.
Right, they did. We might not have known who Tank Dell and Nico Collins were, but they had a better offensive line. I don't think it was an amazing offensive line, but a better one. And as it turned out, they had 2 weapons on the outside, and Dalton Schultz as a tight end was better. So they had things in place to make it easier, on top of the fact, better coach team. Bobby Slowick better than whatever the Panthers ran out offensively. But with Caleb Williams, who looks spectacular, DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen, Cole Kmet, they've got the pieces in place. If the offensive line gives Caleb Williams just enough time, they could be a pretty darn good offense. So not out of the realm of possibility, A, that the Bears make the playoffs, or that Caleb Williams is mentioned in the Heisman Trophy, regardless of the reasons Dominique Foxworth raised, and I think there's validity to many of them. It wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility that Caleb Williams puts himself in that situation. All right, to college football. NC State will take on Tennessee. Tennessee is ranked. NC State is ranked. NC State started the season ranked. You know what that means to Dave Doran? Nothing.
Preseason rankings are, overrated, I think is my take on it, especially now with the number of new players that are on rosters. Last 2 seasons in general, teams are averaging 40 new players per team, so your teams are being ranked off of last year's performances and the hype of the recruits coming in. And as you know, it takes time to build chemistry, and I think November is going to be an interesting month. I think you're going to see a lot of teams improve over the course of the season. There's a lot of players that, some of them just came in the summer, and they're still trying to learn their defense or offensive systems. So football's, publicly like one and done. Like team loses the opener, they're out for the season. There's a lot of games to play. And
I think Dave Doran makes a lot of good points, including about November, how you're going to see teams improve. Here's the thing. It's still, Florida State's done, right? We kind of know it. You've lost 2 conference games already. They're not going to come back and win the league. If Florida State's in contention to be in the ACC championship game with 2 losses today, then the rest of the league just threw up on themselves.
Yeah, they're just making up for last year.
There should be 2 teams with either 0 or 1 loss in conference play. If we have any good teams in the league, we should have 2 teams that look like that. But if you can just keep yourself in it, if State were to win this game against Tennessee, even if you go to Death Valley and lose to Clemson, if you can keep yourself in it and get to November, Or if you lose to Tennessee but win at Clemson, right? Keep yourself in it until you get to November and you're playing your best football when we get to the 11th month of the year. Then if you are truly getting better and you are good, then you can play your way into this whole thing. So I think Dave Durham made a bunch of really good points. Now, about dealing with a team like Tennessee.
I mean, they are as fast as you can play. This isn't the first time we've defended somebody like that. Syracuse was like that with Dino Babers. That's right. So, yeah, we've seen it. We've done well against it, and we haven't done well against it. You know, I mean, it's a tough offense, not only because they go fast. It's a tough offense because they got good players in that offense, you know, and we have to do a great job on defensive tackling. There's going to be a lot of space plays. We have to defend deep balls well. And we need to get them off schedule. We can't let them have second and medium, second and short. Like, we need to get them in second longs and then get them to third and longs and then win and keep them on the sideline. And this is one of those games where both sides got to really complement each other in this football game.
All right, so they won 69-3 over Tennessee Chattanooga. And it's just Tennessee Chattanooga, so we shouldn't take too much out of it. But, man, their quarterback, Nico Lamalieva, I have no idea if I did that right. I said I would learn it by the end of the day. I can't say that I have.
Maybe you did.
Maybe, but yes, maybe I did. But he is dynamite, good arm, accurate down the field, quick. Yeah. So it's going to be a challenge for NC State's defense. Said this, I don't know how many times already today. The number one factor for NC State winning this game will be the performance of their own offensive line in the run game. I understand that Tennessee's got a great defensive front and they're great at getting to the quarterback. Yes. State must be able to run the football. If they can't, they will not only not win, they might get run. Must run the ball. And that's what college football is all about. All right, let's close on this because it makes Victoria happy.
Yes.
For the 18th time?
Yes,
in franchise history.
Mm-hmm.
For the 18th time in franchise history, the Chicago Cubs threw a no-hitter. Of course, it wasn't a single no-hitter. It was a combined no-hitter.
Second in franchise history.
Second one of those. Mm-hmm. 3 different pitchers, right? Combined on this?
3 different, and it was 52 years apart. 1972 was the last time they did a combined no-hitter.
Wow. Who was involved in 19... Do we know? Do you know?
Not offhand who was doing it then.
I mean, you could say Ferguson Jenkins because he's a Hall of Famer, maybe, but he wouldn't have come out of the game. 1972. Milt Pappas. Whatever. All right, let's hear how it sounded last night.
2. Grounder to short. Dansby to first. There it is. No hitter. Shota Imanaga, Nate Pearson, Porter Hodge, a combined no-no.
All right, there you go.
I know, and my favorite baseball song.
Which is what?
Go Cubs Go.
Oh, okay.
They play it when they win at the end.
That makes great sense.
Everyone rejoices.
Oh, sure. Very good. First no-hitter at Wrigley Field since 1972. Yeah. I believe it's the first no-hitter thrown where there were 3 errors made.
Yeah.
So the Cubs have that going for them.
Right. Well, there's something.
All right.
Good.
All right. So when we come back, by the way, bottom of the hour, Sean Clark, the head coach at App State. When we come back, I've told you before today, it's a story that I promise you don't care about. It's one of my favorite sports, and I don't care about it. But they are miscalculating, and I think it's worth a mention. And we'll mention it next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Keep pounding. Panther Talk. Panthers Playbook. The Paw Print. Follow your Carolina Panthers all season with us.
Stacked receivers both to the right and the left. Hubbard, the running back to the right side of Young, who's setting up to throw. Over the middle, wide open, touchdown as the Panthers tight end, the veteran Jordan Matthews, scores on the opening drive for Carolina.
Your home for complete Carolina Panthers coverage. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
The NFL is finally upon us. It's about time, right? And FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, has a special offer to kick us off. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. You don't even have to win the $5 bet. Then with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment you can cancel at any time. What about the rookie quarterback matchup of a year ago? Stroud and Richardson in Indianapolis. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. Download America's #1 sports book today. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Full price of NFL Sunday Ticket will be automatically charged seasonally after free trial. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The new bonus edition Buck Scratch-Off's got a first-ever bonus game in the Outback.
You mean on the back, not Outback.
What's on the back?
The bonus game.
Then what's on the front?
Prizes up to $1 million.
I thought the game was called Bucks.
It is. Just forget it.
Crikey, mate. Don't go telling people to forget it. The whole point is for them to be remembering it.
The all-new bonus edition Buck Scratch-Offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 3.81 to 4.75. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you call your insurance company. The insurance company wants to pay you the least amount possible. Law Tigers are riders too, so we understand what your bike and gear are worth and what you're going through after an accident. Your case evaluation is always free, and we don't get paid until your case settles. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Progressive presents Renter's MVP's Most Valuable Possessions. Today's MVP, Joe Fallon's bedroom mini fridge. Sure, this pint-sized chiller's max capacity is 3 soda cans, but what it lacks in stature, it makes up in cooling strength. Each beverage a perfect 37 degrees every time. And the 2 feet Joe walks to get a drink? Priceless. That's why his mini fridge is today's MVP. Keep your most valuable possessions protected by bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Adam Gold here from my friend Dr. Lori Travers at Travers LASIK, the Triangle's only LASIK specialist. And if you are a contact lens wearer, I'm going to save you time and money. You know how much time it takes to put in contacts, take them out, clean them, and do all of that. You know how much money it costs to get all the solutions and things you need for contacts plus glasses, prescription sunglasses. Now go to Dr. Lori Travers at Travers LASIK, 919-510-6830, and get rid of all of it. Make the call, 919-510-6830, and TraversLASIK.com.
This is Adam Gold.
And I did have to use 2 screens at one point, or a couple of points, and I don't like it. I can't watch 2 games at the same time.
There's a lot going on.
I'm sorry, I'm incapable of doing that. Because there were times where, I forgot this other game was on in front of me.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. I was sort of right about the Cubs in this way, because the way it actually was, there was the second team no-hitter in Cubs history. The last one was just a few years ago, but it was at Dodger Stadium. The last no-hitter thrown by a Cubs pitcher at Wrigley Field was 52 years ago.
Long time.
1972. So at Wrigley Field, the last no-hitter thrown by a Cubs pitcher. And it was Milt Pappas, which, okay, nice guess.
Yeah.
Because it was just a guess. But the reason I guessed Pappas and not Ferguson Jenkins was because I thought we were talking about a team no-hitter, and there's no way Fergie Jenkins is coming out of the game.
it was a great guess like Dylan from yesterday. So
Dylan
Jared
knew it.
Goff. Yeah.
Dylan knew it, and he flexed on it, too.
He did.
It's like, man, you see my tip and pitches? What's going on here? All right, so now here to the story that you don't care about, I don't care about, and it's one of my favorite sports. I'm a golf fan. I love golf, right? The President's Cup is coming up in 3 weeks. We haven't talked about it. President's Cup's just really a golf tournament, but it's good. It's good practice for Ryder Cup things. Also, for people who are just getting into it, yeah, enjoy it. It's Ryder Cup light. Not as much riding on it as there is in the 100-year history of the Ryder Cup. But we haven't really talked about it because whatever. But for the last, I don't know how many years now, 10 years, we've been doing something called The Match. It started with like Tiger Woods against Phil Mickelson. They were, playing skins for a lot of money, and money would go to charity. They would have the opportunity to win a lot of money too, but there would be people calling in and donating money. All good ideas, right? So The Match, which I think airs on Turner, I don't know which of their networks, is going to pit Rory McIlroy and Scottie Scheffler in a team match against Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka. Now, The Match has been on, I don't know how many times we've had The Match. At this point, who cares? We don't care. Not at December. I think it's December. We don't care. The season's over. These guys are not playing for each other's money. Scottie Scheffler, as great as he is boring as the day is long. So is Brooks Koepka.
Yeah, true. Scotty's busy with a kid now.
And Scotty's busy.
Finally had her 9-year pregnancy.
If it was Rory versus Bryson and they were, I don't know, like beating each other up in between holes, maybe. But no, we don't care. But here's the hook on why they're doing this. Because Rory McIlroy, it seems, is the one who pushed for it. Is that, if you notice, it's two of the best players on the PGA Tour against two of the best players who play for Live Golf. And this is why Rory is pushing it. Because Rory is mad that the PGA Tour and the players have dragged their feet on getting these two tours together. I don't disagree with Rory on a lot of things, but frankly, if the PGA Tour and the Live Tour never came together, it wouldn't bother me. Maybe I'm the only guy who doesn't care, but if those two entities never saw each other again except for major championships, I'd be like, okay, whatever. We see him at the majors. I don't root against a player because he plays on the Live Golf circuit. I don't care where you play. I like Brooks Koepka. I enjoy watching him play. And I think the new version of Bryson DeChambeau is fun. I think that Rory and others are miscalculating how much we give a damn about PGA Tour versus Live. You know who cares more about it than most people? People who are fans of Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka and Dustin Johnson and players like that.
Yeah.
That's who cares. Because we don't see them. Because they're playing in a place you can't see. You can, but nobody watches it. Nobody has watched Live events this year. Nobody. And the ratings are catastrophically bad. But nobody cares about that. And nobody will care about this. And this is the major miscalculation. First of all, the only match that I think would draw eyeballs, this made-for-TV event, would be Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese. Now I'm watching.
Yes.
I do not care about Rory and Scotty versus Bryson and Brooks, but I will watch Caitlin Clark play Angel Reese in a golf match, whether or not either woman can play.
I know. Well, and Caitlin, she's still breaking records, apparently.
They both are.
Yeah.
Angel Reese set the record for the most rebounds in a season. Caitlin Clark just had her second triple-double. The Indiana Fever clinched the playoff spot for the first time in like 9 years, and neither of them are half the MVP candidate that A'ja Wilson is, who put up 41 and 17 two nights ago.
She's a beast.
She is ridiculous. All right, when we come back, Sean Clark is the head coach at App State. They are going to Death Valley on Saturday. We will talk about it with Sean Clark next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
My name's Kate Roper, and I live in Leicester, North Carolina. In September of 2023, I had a tumor removed from my left ear, and I just enrolled in NC Medicaid. It was just such a relief knowing that now that I'm covered by NC Medicaid, I don't have to worry about how I'm going to pay for medical treatment now. It's probably saving my life.
See if you qualify at medicaid.nc.gov.
When the power goes out, your life is disrupted. Heat, air conditioning, refrigeration, phones, all gone. Be prepared for the next outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Power your life with a Generac home standby generator. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
The 2024 elections are just around the corner, and older voters are the nation's most active. The AARP North Carolina Voters Guide has information about upcoming election dates, registration deadlines, and voting options in North Carolina, such as voting by mail, early voting, or voting with a disability. Find the guide in the voters section at aarp.org/NC and listen each week to AARP Without Limits for important election news and much more. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Have you lost North Carolina Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
From the mountains to the coast, there is tremendous pride in North Carolina agriculture. NC Forever Farms is a program recognizing family farms that are protecting precious working lands vital to the future of agriculture. Through permanent agricultural conservation easements, these NC Forever Farms will always be protected from development. Learn more about preserving family farms through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services by visiting ncadfp.org.
Are you struggling with your Medicare drug costs? The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program may be able to help. The extra help in Medicare savings programs are available for those who qualify, but you have to apply. Contact SHIP today to see if you qualify. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
When it comes to health, we're all on our own journey. Our challenges aren't always visible to those around us. You may be living with aches and pains, fatigue, shortness of breath, or other symptoms that make it difficult to manage everyday life. These problems can be the result of a variety of conditions, including long COVID, which 1 in 5 adults who've had COVID-19 may develop, according to the CDC. When symptoms linger, they could lead to feelings of isolation, but you don't have to go through it alone. For challenges like these, physical therapy is the solution. Physical therapists are the licensed healthcare providers moving you to better health. They can improve your quality of life through hands-on care, patient education, and prescribed movement. No matter where you are on your health journey, your physical therapist and physical therapist assistant can help. When we work together, we feel better together. So choose more movement. Choose better health. Choose physical therapy. Visit ChoosePT.com to find a physical therapist near you or ask your primary care provider for a referral. This message is provided by the American Physical Therapy Association.
Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
This is Adam Gold.
Thank you very much for your time, man. We will talk again.
Adam, anytime for you, my friend.
Thank you. I don't know why it makes me laugh. Why does that make me laugh?
I don't know. Maybe you just are used to people being mean to you or something, like Twitter. I don't know.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Week 2 of the college football season sees a lot of very difficult games. Here, we normally focus on, what is the ACC going to do this week? Wasn't a great opening week for some schools. Clemson went to Atlanta and got kind of sunned by Georgia, but get in line. A lot of teams are going to get sunned by the Bulldogs. I wonder, does it make the Clemson Tigers angry, more angry? Are they more apt to be better this week than otherwise? Most of that stuff probably doesn't matter, but I am not the head coach of App State. That is Sean Clark, and he joins us on the Adam Gold Show, 8 o'clock, ACC Network, Saturday night. App State in Death Valley, the real Death Valley, against the Clemson Tigers. Does it matter to you? Would you rather face them coming off a win or a loss?
I don't think it doesn't really matter, Adam. They got a great football team, and you can look since Coach Sweeney's been there for the last 15 years. He's played for ACC championships, national championships, and again, I don't think the score was indicative of that game last week in Atlanta. Georgia's a mighty fine program, and Clemson had a chance in the first half to go up for them. So I know we have our work cut out for us, but I know our players are excited to head down to Death Valley and play in one of the greatest atmospheres in all college football.
Let me just start with what you saw from whether you watched that game live, the Clemson-Georgia game live, or you just devoured the tape. What did you see that stands out to you about Tigers?
Well, I just watched it live. We had a little rain delay here in Boone, but we watched it all week long, and I watched a lot more of their defense than their offense. Their defensive line is spectacular. That they have, in my opinion, probably 4 first-round draft picks from that defensive line, and it really starts off with Peter Woods. He's 6'3", 315 pounds, runs like a deer, and then you go to their linebacking core with Carter and Woodaz, and they have a great secondary, and that's they went toe-to-toe with Georgia for 3 quarters, and those guys create a lot of havoc in the backfield, and they can run their coach well. And so I know our offense has to do a great job of keeping ahead of the sticks this week to give us a chance to be successful.
Sean Clark, App State head football coach, is joining us here in the Adam Gold Show at Coach_S Clark on Twitter. Against East Tennessee State, you threw the ball incredibly effectively. And ran it well, too. It was definitely spread out. Do you have to run to set up the pass in this game, or is it the other way around?
I don't think so. I don't think it really matters. I mean, these kind of games, it's going to be an aggressive game plan from us, and we'll take some chances. But we have to be able to spread the field out. Again, they have such a great defense that we have to do a good job up front. These games are still won at the line of scrimmage, and, again, we're facing an uphill battle this week. But, we're fortunate to have Joey as our quarterback. Joey can do a lot of great things for us, and then we have great receivers and great running backs. So it really doesn't matter if you got to run first or pass first. We have to make plays. I told our team on Tuesday, big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games.
How important is getting Joey involved in the run game to keep maybe Clemson a little off balance?
Well, we're going to do whatever we have to do to win, Adam. And, again, we're not going down there to try to get a moral victory or play close. We're going down to win, and that's one thing about our program. We've played these games before. We know what to expect in a hostile environment. So if the number calls for him to run, we're going to run him. And today, I would make sure to give our program the best chance to win and make sure our fans know that we went down there to do the right thing, and that's win the football game.
I've seen enough of App State on national television in environments. I mean, I watched the Mountaineers win at Texas A&M in front of the 12th man. So I totally understand what you are getting at. What do What do you expect in terms of improvement? What areas do you want to see your club improve from week 1 to week 2?
Yeah, that's the biggest. You'll see the biggest jump in programs from week 1 to week 2. And I thought we played a clean game for the most part. We had some penalties, and sometimes those are plain penalties, it's part of the game. But we had a few false starts. You don't want that to happen. That's something that you can't overcome in games like that. But just to go down there and play a clean game, and then let the cards fall where they fall. But I don't want to be in a situation where we have a bunch of false starts and turnovers and things that get you stuck behind the 8 ball early. So if we can play a clean game and get to the fourth quarter, I feel good about our chances.
There are a lot of people who think that that App or anybody in your situation has to play a perfect game, but that can lead to mistakes in and of itself. How do you get your guys to not try to go out and play the perfect game?
Well, I think we do a really good job of playing loose here at App, and it probably starts with me. I'm probably a little tighter than most head coaches, been a former offensive lineman, but I want our players to play loose and go have fun. You work all year round for 12 guaranteed opportunities, so why wouldn't you enjoy the moment? And we've been trying to preach that all week long. Hey, this is a great football team we're playing, and the stats show, the national championship show, but again, this game is really about us and do what we do and have fun doing it. So I know our kids are excited. I know they've had two great days of practice thus far. We go again in about 30 minutes. We'll be on the field again. So just go have fun, enjoy the moment, and that's what college football is about.
Do you do anything different to prepare them for 80,000 nuts people running down the hill, rubbing Howard? Do you do anything different to kind of get them ready for that environment?
No, I think that's kind of overrated in some ways, and I try to be very consistent with our players and everything we do. Now, we have played some crowd noise, and it's going to be loud, but we played in college states. We played at Penn State. We played at North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee. So we know what to expect, and I think with how we do our cadence, our snap count, that will give us an advantage in some ways. So, but again, we're not going to do anything different. It's going to be a loud, hostile environment, but it's going to be a great college football game at 8 o'clock on the ACC network.
What did you like the most about your team's performance against East Tennessee State?
Well, I think our defense played well.
Mm-hmm.
You take away 2 plays, and they have 190 yards total offense, and that's the good thing about playing a game early before one of these kind of games, that we can play a lot of players. We played 33 players on defense, I think 26, 27 on offense. But again, it's just to go out there and improve on what we've done. And we try to keep things simple around here. To me, it's football is still a simple game. It was invented by PE teachers for PE. And it's about throwing, tackling, and catching. So if we can keep it simple, let our kids play and have fun, then we're going to do the very best we can.
So when you go into the locker room after allowing the 80-yard touchdown run, and it wasn't right before the half, it was just inside of 2 minutes left, does that change how you talk to the guys? Because, you could have gone in with a shutout after the first half. How did that alter the mood at halftime?
No, we went in and discussed what we had to do. With technology right now, we know exactly what happened. We have iPads on the sidelines. We could go back and evaluate what happened, what was the breakdown. So, went back into the locker room at halftime. I told them we kind of reset. We played well early on both sides of the ball. The last probably 3 minutes of the first half, we didn't play our best football, and we can't let that happen. So just go out and, again, you have to win your one-on-one battles, and that's you versus you. And again, it wasn't a win-win for the Gippers. Let's go out and play App State football and see where the cards fall. So, but our kids were locked in at halftime. They knew that they had to improve, and they did. I think we played well in the latter part of the third quarter and played well in the fourth quarter.
Are you a win-one for the Gippers speech maker in the locker room before games or at halftime?
No, I'm a man of few words at halftime. The game day's about our players, and
right.
I try to stay away from that. And I want to do the best coaching I can throughout the week. But Saturday's for them, and it's all about them on Saturday afternoons.
Do you have a ritual that you like to go through before a game like this?
No, I usually take a walk around the field, and I kind of stay by myself. I like to sit in the locker room and just listen to a little music or watch something on my phone. But I don't like getting out and walking too much. Just one lap around the field and then get by myself.
One lap around the field would do me in, especially at altitude up in Boone. What are you listening to? What kind of music are you doing? Luke Combs, because he's an app guy.
Yeah, I'm all about Luke Combs. Again, I'm a loyal guy, so
sure.
Anytime I can listen to Luke Combs, kind of settles you in a little bit. It's down home country feeling. So we'll listen to Luke Combs and relax a little bit.
See, you never know where these conversations are going to go. Sean Clark, App State head football coach. Good luck against the Clemson Tigers in Death Valley. We'll be watching Saturday night. I love these games anyway, and yeah, I'm with you. No moral victories. And we talked about this last time you were on. These games leave an impression on committees. They've got to choose a group of 5 school, and there's a lot of football to be played after this, but this is a big opportunity for you guys.
It is. We're putting our program on the national stage again, and you go out through history, we've done well on these kind of games. So we just want to get there and make all that nation proud. And again, it's going to be a great game, great atmosphere. It's going to be a tough battle, but one we look forward to, Adam.
Sean Clark, I thank you very much. We will talk to you down the road. Good luck at Death Valley.
Thank you, sir. Have a great one.
You too. Sean Clark here, App State head football coach on the Adam Gold Show. We're going to get you our Thursday picks with Lee Sterling in just a few minutes. Just looking at the lines, I mean, not that Sean Clark cares. It's only 16.5 points. I mean, that's not massive. I think that says that probably is about what Clemson didn't do against Georgia offensively. But if you take away that 80-yard touchdown run, and there was an 80-yard touchdown run by Tennessee State, East Tennessee State, not Tennessee State. Man, App's defense came to play. And if there is a unit that you can shut down, it is the Clemson Tigers offense. I'm not trying to compare here, but Georgia didn't have a ton of trouble shutting down Clemson's offense. So, but we're here. It is week 1 of the NFL season, week 2 of the college season after an expanded first week where Florida State lost twice, SMU won twice. So in the ACC standings where we have seen, well, Florida State is legitimately last in the league, but a lot of schools haven't played any conference games. Some have. Georgia Tech, I guess, is listed first. It is a big week. The Yellow Jackets are in Syracuse to play we don't really know what Georgia Tech is. We know Georgia Tech won, but that doesn't mean that that's Georgia Tech. That could have been a one-off. That's the difference between, I think, college and pro football. Tom O'Brien said it a long, long time ago. He wishes, when he was the head coach at NC State, he wishes that they would have a preseason game. Because if they had a preseason game, maybe it would be a lot easier to figure out who would, what your team was going into the first game of the season. But you don't get that. So your first game becomes, I wonder what it's going to look like. And in talking to Chip Patterson yesterday, I think last week surprised Clemson. I think that based on our conversation yesterday, I think Clemson assumed they would be better than they showed against Georgia. Now, obviously, a lot of that is Georgia being one of the best teams in the entirety of college football. So, to me, I get it. I absolutely get it. Why Clemson would be like, man, we practice so much better, and then we get to game day and it doesn't look right. How do you translate that from the practice field to the field? For golfers, how do you go from the range to the course? And maybe Cade Klubnik does everything right on the range, but can't figure out a way to bring it to the golf course where it looks right. Who knows? Who knows? But this becomes a season, not saving, but it might be. If it doesn't go well for the Clemson Tigers, we could be eliminating 2 teams. Or maybe App is the best team in the ACC. Who knows? But it will be an interesting game to watch. Great setting, and App has pedigree that travels along with them. If they can run the ball against Clemson, if they can force Clemson to throw it, they have a puncher's chance down in Death Valley. All right, you got the Ravens and the Chiefs tonight. I went back, I talked about this before the season, at the very beginning of the show. The Chiefs are going for a three-peat tonight. Or not tonight, but to start the process of winning 3 straight Super Bowls. No team in the NFL has ever done that. In fact, we only have 3 teams that have even played in at least 3 consecutive Super Bowls. We do have teams that have won 3 out of 4, and one that has won 4 out of 6. That's the Steelers of the mid to late 70s. But only 3 teams have ever been in 3 Super Bowls consecutively. The Dolphins, the Patriots, and the Bills, who were in 4 in a row and lost all 4. That's hard to do. Honestly, they were underdogs in the last 3. Probably should have won the first one against the Giants, but you didn't, so there you go. But the Chiefs have won the last 2, and no team has won 3 in a row. And in fact, no team coming off back-to-back Super Bowl champions has ever made a 3rd straight Super Bowl. 3 of the 5 missed the playoffs entirely. I don't anticipate the Chiefs missing the playoffs entirely, but stranger things, I guess, have happened. Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports, who joins us every Thursday to kind of help us out as we head to the weekend. So, sir, thank you very much. By the way, you went 4-1 last week?
Yeah, we did, and 8-1 for our clients, so everyone is happy. I was a little nervous, I have to be honest with you.
Nervous?
You just don't know what's going to happen. I mean, these...
Do I make you nervous?
There's not even exhibitions.
Do I make you nervously?
A little bit. I mean,
okay.
When you spend over 300 hours in the summer preparing for the season, I had one year I was like 5-8 the first week.
Oh, no.
I was about to crash. And
all right, well.
It's a good feeling to know that most of my observations were pretty on the money.
Yeah, and as you said, and I was just talking about this, in college we really don't know because there are no preseason games. In the NFL...
Well, look at the NC State game. That first 3 quarters,
yeah,
I mean, was horrendous. And if they had, let's say, even a scrimmage, let's say they took on, Charlotte or another school or even an FCS opponent in a scrimmage, I don't think we would have seen that type of haphazard performance.
Yeah, the offensive line was a little bit concerning. Let's start with the NFL game tonight. We will get to the Wolfpack. We will get to the Tar Heels as well. Kansas City with a bit of a souped-up offense. Baltimore's got Lamar Jackson, but they also have added pieces to the wide receiver room. How do you see this?
Here's the problem for Baltimore. I think it's up front. On defense, they lost Jadeveon Clowney. They lost linebacker Patrick Queen.
Yeah.
And they also lost their cornerback, Ronald Darby. And even their defensive coordinator, Mike McDonald. Big loss.
That's right.
And they let 3 offensive linemen go in free agency. So they feel that, well, mainly because of the salary cap, they're going to have to go with some drafted kids the last couple of years. I think it's going to take them a little while to gel here. This Kansas City team just has no weakness. I think by them losing the first week last year against Detroit, they'll be ready for this game here. I think Kansas City is probably the right side here, 24-17.
24-17, Kansas City. I'm already mad that I think I went the other way. All right, let's just stay in the NFL real quick, and then we'll get to college.
Yep.
Part of me likes the Panthers to maybe surprise the Saints in New Orleans because the Panthers are thought to be one of, if not the worst team in the NFC. I'm not sold on Derek Carr. How do you see this?
I'm not either, and I think Carolina's going to be much improved. I mean, just watching them from the second preseason game on, you see the improvement. You see they had so many dumb penalties. Whenever it seemed like they hit it on a big play, it would be nullified. Quarterback play, Young obviously wasn't ready just yet, but they still had a meager 5.5 yards per attempt with him at quarterback. He only completed 59% of his passes for only 10 touchdowns. As bad as you think Derek Carr is, he had 25 touchdowns and 8 interceptions here. They have a new offensive coordinator in Clint Kubiak. I think is going to inject some new ideas here. I hate to say it. I like New Orleans 23-13 here opening week.
All right, New Orleans 23-13. We still like you, Leah, but now you're making me nervous. Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports, at Paramount Sports on Twitter, is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. One more NFL game, because we love Russell Wilson back from his days at NC State. He was named the starter. But Atlanta is one of those teams that is, they think they're going to win this division, and they might very well. What's your take on this?
So I think Pittsburgh's got some problems. They have one receiver. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, Pickens is it, and decent tight end. I just don't think that Russell Wilson is even close to where he used to be. He's not seeing that second and third option, and you're going to need that against this Atlanta defense. I think they're going to bring the heat on him here. I think this Atlanta team with Kirk Cousins, even though he didn't play in preseason, doesn't have his feet well. I did go to the 11-on-11s that they had and 7-on-7s against the Dolphins, and he looked pretty good, and he knows how to utilize a tight end like Pitts. He's got one of the most dynamic running backs, and I think a good enough receiving core to be able to do some damage. Now, it's going to be a low-scoring game here. I think Pittsburgh, that's the only way they can win, but I like Atlanta here, 24-18.
18?
Yeah.
With Pittsburgh
Maybe
kicking 6 field goals?
A point or two, or they have to go for 2 when they're behind a couple times.
Totally understand. All right, to college. Let's start with the big one. Tennessee and NC State playing in Charlotte. The Wolfpack team I watched in the first 3 quarters had trouble blocking in the middle of their offensive line. And I'm not talking about pass blocking. I'm talking about run blocking. To me, they must run the ball well to win. Do you agree? How do you see this?
So the exact time when things turned around, I think it was either 14:44 or 14:45, is the time that all of a sudden everything started to click. Grayson McCall, he could have used a practice game or another game. He was high, he was wide, he was in front, behind receivers, and then everything, just started going for this kid. I think he's something special. I think that his leadership, and he didn't even run the ball. He only ran it 5 times. He's finally healthy, and last year he was not healthy at all to even try to play. They should have sat him out even more.
Right.
Here's the matchup. The Tennessee wide receivers and tight end against Tennessee. I think Tennessee's secondary is dead last, the worst in the SEC. I think they're going to use the pass to set up the run. Then Casey Concepcion will have a big game. Noah Rogers and also tight end Justin Jolly here. Jordan Walters isn't going to fumble the ball 3 times again. The Vols have a great passing game. Nico is special, their quarterback. They have 6, 7, maybe 8 receivers.
Yeah.
But that secondary is a huge weakness. Wrong team favored. Outright upset. NC State 38-34.
I just got to chill. Lee. I'm all a quiver. Final. I think we only have time for this.
Okay.
Tar Heels are down to their second quarterback.
Yeah.
Didn't look like they had much of a passing game, even with the first quarterback. Certainly not with the second quarterback. But it is Charlotte, who isn't very good. How do you see this?
I think this is a trap line. Everyone's going to play North Carolina.
Yeah.
I just don't see the passing game there. Charlotte, I think they're just going to run the ball, try to keep it on the ground here, not turn the ball over. I have them winning North Carolina 40-21. They stay under the 23.5 number. And anyone wants to get involved, how about this? I'll give them the Texas-Michigan game for free. First 5 callers, 800-400-9741. Again, the number 800-400-9741. We went 8-1 for our clients. All the specials are up and available. Also, a bunch of free pick videos. We can't even go over all the big games. Let's say you want to see Nebraska, Colorado, that video, Iowa State, Oklahoma State, Arkansas, all those free pick videos. Check it out, ParamountSports.com. And we're not going to do a fight this week?
Oh, no, we're out of time. I didn't know we had fights.
Oh, we have a fight.
Oh,
yeah, we do.
Down for another segment, to start a segment?
We're out. The show's over. The show's over.
Next week.
We'll pick the fights next week. We'll get them all right.
Okay, sounds good.
Leaf.
Next week's got a pay-per-view. We'll get on it. Okay?
It'll be good next week.
Victoria will let me know. It's her. I'm not the fight person. Lee Sterling at Paramount Sports on Twitter. I thank you very much, Lee. All right, so we picked an outright upset win for NC State. Can I just say, if that happens, I think everybody will be happy. I do. I think everybody will be happy if that happens. I will be. I would be thrilled if that happens. All right, Victoria, we'll see everybody tomorrow. We'll do this one more time. Thank you very much. Bye.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey friends, Paul Ihander from 99.9 The Fan for FanDuel. It is NFL week, and FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, has a special offer to kick us off. Now, through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then, with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game, and you need them all. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. Head on over to FanDuel.com/Paul, P-A-U-L, with a capital P. Download America's #1 sportsbook. 21 plus and present in North Carolina. Full price of NFL